will tell Brendan Schaub that that you guys will come see him as well. I know he's going to be heading there soon for, I think, his second or third visit. The bee sting daddy from The Fighter and the Kid. But man, I'll tell you this: I went to see Joey Diaz. Surprised him up there on last Monday, and yeah, man, it was great. You know, because Joey has this special thing. If you're not familiar with Joey Diaz, and you need to go check him out, he's one of a kind. You know, he's from like another. It's almost like he's like the emerging of a couple of different generations, because he's got this old school generation where it's, you know, he's about honor and he's about his word. But then he's got this new school generation where he's, you know, all in the psychedelics and thinking and like and experimenting and then he's got the kind of the 70s kind of trapped in him where he's all about like free love and just bringing everybody into the fold. He's just, you know, he's multi-generational, and he's got that special gift. And he was shooting a special for Netflix, and Netflix is a television channel, but it's on your computer, and now it's actually back on your television now. Which is pretty bizarre, isn't it? It's like TV came off a TV on your computer, and then now it's like, oh, go and get. Now you can get the computer on the TV. Remember where you used to get it? But now it's like they took it and reshaped it and now it's back over there. And he was taping a Netflix special for them, and it was great, man. He didn't know I was coming up, and I rolled up there. And, you know, they have productions. So you get there and they have an audience waiting outside. Some white dude, some Muppet had gotten, you know, the heat or had got him. It was in Vegas. So either the heat had got him or maybe a hooker had bit him. You know, something had happened to him and he hit the ground. The EMTs are out there. But, you know, a couple of the EMTs, they're probably, you know, cooking dope on the side and shit because it's Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's a school teacher, but they selling a little bit of freaking warm lip out the back door, you know? They escorting. So it's anything is possible. You know, they selling a couple slices of that. Mama's got that sweat wallet, and she's vending that thing after school. You know, and she's putting people in a detention in her crotch because that's how they make that extra money. That's Vegas. And that's, you know, I mean, the Vegas it's basically just a buffet for the dark arts. You get anything you want over there. You can go rappelling off of a crack rock if you want. And that reminds me of a story of my sister one time. And I don't think I'm talking outside of school. I mean, my sister and I, you know, she knows I love her and we share stories, but she got caught up on some of that dust or something back in the day, you know. She was just, you know what I'm saying? She was all about that. She was all about that. Give me a D, give me a U, give me a S, give me a T. On that dust. And she had a boyfriend, and that's what happened. You know, because sometimes the man he'll be dusted up. You know, he'll be running around and he'll have, you know, dusty ideas. And then the lady will fall in love with the man, and then she'll get caught, you know, she'll get some of that dust in her eyes. And that's just a byproduct of the love that she expresses for the man. And that's what happened with my sister. And so she fell in with some man and they was getting dusted up or something. And he took her rock climbing. And look, dude, I think it's crazy to be, first of all, you introducing somebody to rock, you know, to some type of dust or methamphetamines. And then secondarily to then physically take them rock climbing. I mean, what is that? What would Freud say about that? You know, when you introducing somebody to a couple of grams, and then you introducing somebody to a couple of you know, stalactites of granite, from grams to granite, baby. You know what I'm saying? We getting dusted, and we going spelunking, and so that's what happened. But anyway, my sister went rock climbing, and they ended up climbing up to a what's it called when people they're eating, but you can see their vagina, nudist colony. She got taken up to a nudist colony, and they were grilling out. They were doing barbecue, because even the naked like to eat. I mean, and you got to think about that, boy. If you take your clothes off, the first thing I want, boy, I feel embarrassed for about 30 seconds after that. Give me a fucking McRib, baby. Give me a around. Because, boy, I swear, dude, if I don't have to worry about getting some on my shirt, that's the beauty about eating naked. Boy, a sloppy Joe. And now, if I got on a nice, if I got on a nice 700, count, or if I got on a nice, like, 80 count threadbare shirt or something, or a multifaceted, collared shirt that has a couple of levels, got that business top piece, that collar, yeah, then I might not enjoy a chili dog the right way. Or I might stick my neck out and eat it away from my body. But boy, you get me naked, I want a sloppy Joe. Know what I'm saying, dude? I'll let you throw handfuls of fucking warm meat into my mouth from about 2 feet away. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that prime rib from close range. Because I don't care about getting it on my clothes at that point. And that's the crazy thing. We buy these clothes, and then, because we want to look nice, and then we have to eat all uncomfortably to keep the spillage off of our clothes. Because look, I don't trust somebody that don't put a little bit of condiments on their meat. If you don't put condiments on your meat or condiments on your, vegetables or salads, if you eating dry salad? Oh, was your stepdaddy a rabbit? Huh? Do your mother live at, I don't know, Mr. McGregor's garden? Unit 704? No. You need to put condiments on anything you're having. You got to juice things up. But so when you don't have that, when you're naked, you'll eat something full throttle. Boy, I'll take that shit straight to my face because I don't care if I get a little bit of meat on my neck. I don't care if I get a little bit of sloppy Joe, coagulated up in my navel. Because I'll scoop a fucking I'll scoop a small baby hit of warm yams out of my navel and take that shit into my jaw. Because that's who I am, baby. What they gonna do about it? How they gonna stop me? How they gonna stop me? But my sister, they got up there, and this was a nudist colony, and they cooking, they out there grilling. And she said they were grilling fresh franks, hot dogs, whiners. And they out there, they got a fresh batch of, polished sausages and whiners. And everybody's out there eating them. And I'll be dang, dude, her boyfriend, this dude, and he was busted up on them boulders, on them baby boulders, heating them up with a lighter and taking them into his brain. That baby boulder smoke just... and letting the squirrels run through his fucking cerebralities. And this dude's out there, and he's taking my sister to a nudist colony weenie grill out. And honestly, it sounds like a fun-ass date. It sounds like something you'd pay extra to go to at one of these raves. For an extra $150, you can get that special nudist colony wristband. Well, we'll take you guys behind the gymnasium. They got about 50 naked people hopped up on Molly, grilling up a package of them Johnston brats. And my stepdad used to grill up Johnston brats for us all the time. And he drove an old cop car, dude. And everybody in the neighborhood thought he was a cop, but he wasn't. He just got that shit at auction. And so, he got a discount on that car, but I'll be damned if we didn't get all frisked everywhere we went. People frisking me, thought I had a wire on, saying that's my daddy. I barely know him, dude. He owns a car wash, and he's been making love to my mother. That's our only connection. So why are you frisking me? And also, why is this 40-year-old man frisking me? Saying he thinks I'm a narc. A narc for what, bitch? I'm 9 years old. I'm 11, player. I ain't narking. So anyway, man, but my sister, yeah, what was I talking about? Shit, I don't know. But yeah, dude, they took, like my sister, she got caught up out there on a little bit of that, on a little bit of that, that face fire, on a little bit of that dust. And she ended up going, she went rock climbing up to a nudist colony and ended up having lunch out there with them. And in hindsight, look, at least the guy took her to do things, And you can say that's messed up, but also I bet there's a lot of people sitting around out there jealous right now. that your man or your woman's never took you out there for anything special like that. Never took you out there for anything brave and did a little bit of bravery. But yeah, my sister was brave like that, man. One of my sisters brave like that. She likes to get out there and be out there like that. But yeah, thanks for calling and thanks for coming out there to Oklahoma. They had a lot of good people came out. Dude had ant bites on his arms. We had a couple of beautiful multiracial couples. And I like seeing that. Beige power. That's where I'm at. Because the future, bro, the future is mauve. The future is is mildly copper. The future's got that, it's multifaceted. The future is multifaceted. Because they got a lot of people out there trying to get theirs. And those people are all different colors. All different shades. And those people are the ones, that's the team I'm on right there. People are out there trying to get theirs. And you ain't got to cripple nobody in your wake. You don't have to run around with a wheelbarrow of plaster of Paris and just be crippling people in your wake and then putting them into casts, and patching people up after you fucking them up to get yours. You don't have to do that. You can make your way. You can make your way with others. And that's what I realized, dude, because, I get in some of these places and it's, I notice the things that get me are, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to try. And it's unfortunate if they can't try, if if there's something preventing them from making an effort, if they have fear. But some people, they don't want to. They want to stay where they are. And you can stay where you are physically, that's fine. But you can't stay where you are everywhere. I don't think that that's using the gift that we have here, this time here. I don't think it is. If you're not trying to make a move, even emotionally, you're not trying to stay in motion intellectually. You're not trying to challenge yourself in some type of way. That's my thing, man. I can't. I'm just realizing I don't have the time. I don't have the effort to just mill around. We got to be moving. We have to be trying to grow. We have to. We got to. Because if not, what are we doing? It's interesting. They say that the universe expands constantly. So I'm going to sit here and do nothing? Huh? Or I'm going to get out there and I'm going to go spelunk until I find a dang nudist colony that's grilling up a bag of Johnson rats. And you can see everybody's crotch at the same time. Gang. I mean, if that ain't beauty, I don't know what is. But it's about, I think that universe thing is just a clue for us. You have to expand. You got to grow. You got to grow. There's too much opportunity these days to just completely stay stagnant. And sometimes it's tough. Look, it's easier said than done. But the thing is just take one little step, one little move in front of the other. Because even old ant arms came out to the show and got his laughter and got that calamine lotion of love in his ears. And that's what laughter is. And that's what we got to do. We got to stay healing. We got to stay moving forward. We can do it. We can do it, man. But I had a great time and I appreciate that call. But I went up there and I surprised Joey Diaz. I know I'm in and out of things here, but that's how I am. And especially, look, I'm trying to get settled. Dude, I've been all over the place. Last week I went to, I don't even know where. And then Monday I came and went over to Vegas. And then we got Oklahoma. And then this coming weekend I'll be in Calgary. And that's Canada. So, dude, I'm straight up jumping continents, baby. Yeah, I'll be in Calgary. And then I'll be at Tembler Brewing in Bakersfield next weekend. And that is sold out, but they added a second show. And so that's what's up. What else? But I went and saw Joey Diaz. And, man, he just, he's that special level of human. He's so multifaceted. And we got to watch him tape his Netflix special. And that was cool. Because especially after all that hard work, there's that thing where you want that. You never know what's going to make a comedian or a person or a father or a businessman or a banker or a delivery boy. You never know what what's the thing that's going to make them feel complete. You never know. You never know what's going to make them feel, complete. What's going to make them feel, what that little thing is out there that's going to make them feel like, oh, I do my job well. It might be that you're you might be somebody that, you might be somebody that paints, and everybody's trying to get you to paint this and paint that. Oh, won't you paint this picture of these apples? Paint this bowl of fruit. I'm shocked at the level of people that fucking paint fruit. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it. Think of how many pictures of fruit are out there. And every now and then, somebody pick up some paints and some poster board and thinks they're going to do it different or better. Hello? There's about 11 million pictures of fruit. You fuck in Muppet? Are you a Muppet? Do you have Jim Henson's hand up your ass? Because they already have 11 million pictures of fruit, and you're going to get out there and you're going to do that banana different? I doubt that. And so it's, sometimes it's like, but you don't know when that painter, people tell him to paint this, paint that. And you don't know, for him, he might want to paint a house. He might want to spray paint his stepmother. He might want to wake old Janet up with with that can of, remember that spray paint? It used to have a marble in it. So you knew when somebody's about to light you up, boy. And then that shit, boy. Dude, you could spray paint somebody's eyes shut. They had this boy in our neighborhood growing up. They called him Dark Benjamin. And it wasn't a black kid. It was a boy, and somebody'd spray painted. They'd lacquered his fucking eyes shut so bad, dude. They were closed for about 6 weeks because his dad got pissed. He didn't want anybody touching his son after that. And he said, don't anybody touch him. And the mom was like, well, they shut it. They spray painted his eyes shut. And the dad's like, I don't give a damn what they did. Don't touch him. And so then freaking Dark Benjamin had to just chill out, bruh. And I remember his mom even, he was probably 8 years old. His mom put him in a damn baby stroller and took him around for safety. And then he hit a growth spurt, even while his dad was out of town, just for about 6 weeks. He hit a growth spurt, and they put him on a dolly, like one of those little, a hand truck, one of those little dollies you use to move a bunch of boxes at once, where you set them and you lean that metal thing back and it kind of props them. It's got 2 wheels. And dude, Dark Benjamin, his mom and his aunt, who was, honestly, fully lesbian, they were pushing on, they'd be pushing, just wheeling Dark Benjamin around because they had his eyes all caulked shut. Because they spray painted over his eyes with one of those hard cans of lacquer. Hold on, I got to turn the lights on in here. All right, I'm back. Anyhow, what was I saying? So yeah, you just never, but you never know what somebody's, what's their magnum opus? What's the thing that makes them feel, oh, okay, I did it. It might be if you're a pizza delivery boy, for you, it might be, okay, if I get to deliver pizza and then I get invited into a threesome or something, Or maybe somebody lets me, maybe the lady's going to lay there naked and let me look at her junk while she have a couple slices. It might be something like that. You never know. If for the painter person, it might be, okay, yeah, they paint somebody's eyes shut. Or maybe they paint, a whole street in their neighborhood. They paint it yellow with a can of house paint. So next thing you know, you got that eggshell yellow street out there. You just never know. For them, that might be like, oh, the thing that makes them feel complete. And so for comedians, you don't know what it is. For some comedians, it's going on tour. Once they get to be out on tour, it's, that's their, they had that Kerouac in them, and they just wanted to be on tour and be free, and, had that feeling of walking through the airport with their bag in their hand and showing up into a new place to do comedy. And, that's their thing that makes them feel full. And to other people, it may be that they have to be on Madison Square Gardens. You know, when they got to be out there on Madison Square Gardens doing it. For some people, it may be that you know, they just need to perform for the local garden club. And they'll feel complete. It's just you don't know what somebody's top gear is, what makes them feel complete. What answers that question, you know, or acknowledges that fire in them. You know, what feeds that, how they gonna stop me? What they gonna do about me? You know, until we get to certain parts in our life and that gets fed a little bit. But I could imagine, I don't know, but I could imagine that Joey Diaz doing a Netflix special, that was something for him. You know, and for me, and I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, dude. Been wrong most of my life. But I think I felt that a little, that he was, you know, he just felt like it didn't complete him, but just like that it was a stamp of approval. You know, and not from his, look, everybody, so many people know he's one of the greats, just this industry. Because this industry it's not about who's good anymore, who's the best. This industry's on to something else. They're doing something else. And I don't think it's working as effectively, because now they're coming across the tracks because they want to talk to these real boys over here and these real girls over here. And they want to talk to people who actually have a real story to tell. They want to talk to people who have a chip on their shoulder. Because that's where it comes from, man. For me, that humor, it comes out of, it's a necessity. You know, it's just, it's a dandruff. It's a dandruff of my spirit. It's something that has to come off of me and has to come out of me just for me to feel okay. So there it is, man. But that's a little bit, I guess, of what's been happening this week. And I just had a great time, man. I just had such a great time over there in Oklahoma. We went over to University of Arkansas. I got to see Bill and Hillary's old fuck pad. You know, they had the house where Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, I guess, had sex at least once for Chelsea, you know, and, but dude, you could tell, boy, when you're riding around that town, you could feel that old Billy was definitely, because they have a lot of hills in that area, and they got a lot of hay bales, and I bet they called him hay bills, because you could see old Billy Cleasy, William Clinton, slipping off behind a hay bale. You know what I'm saying? And establishing some real jurisdiction back there. But it was beautiful, man. Look, I'll tell you this, beautiful school. University of Arkansas, I thought it was going to be like this. Look, I had my druthers about it. I had my, you know, I was like, oh, this place is going to be like this or like this. You're talking to I went to Louisiana State University for a while. And so certainly even we're a rival. But man, I was thoroughly impressed. Beautiful school. A lot of construction going on, a lot of different gradients of land. So you got, a hill will just pop up out of nowhere. So it just adds some different levels. In hills, you got hills. The good thing about a hill is something can happen behind it. When you're out there on the flat land, dude, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to have that much fun. But you got a hill, boy. Even if you just got like I said, if you even just got a hay bale, boy, if you get that little makeshift freaking land pimple, then damn, anything could happen right behind that thing, boy. But it was nice to see, man. Look, I'll say this, Bill and Hillary had a nice little home over there. They had a nice little home, and I bet if you get up in there, they probably got some dirt. I bet they got some dirty drawings and, hidden under the floorboards, a little bit of, some different pictures of cooter and all of that. Because I'll say this, I remember when I was young, they had a man who, and I've told this on Joe Rogan's before, they had this dude named Nick. And Nick, for $4, would draw you a picture of some sweet crotch for the weekend. So on Thursday night, you give Nick your money. On Friday, he shows up, with that little hitter, with that baby sketch, that sketch this sketch will just, dude, even when you saw him pull the papers out of his pocket, you get a little bit erect. And so that was kind of scary because you wanted to get your little picture and go look at it. And this dude could draw some serious, it was general, I'm not trying to be crass, but it was general labia, general whatever, poisse. And he would draw it up. But man, if you got one of Nick's little $4 hitters, man, you'd use that thing all weekend. At 13, 14 years old, dude, I'd rent out the bathroom at my house and just stay in that thing all weekend, just learning about my body. And so I bet sweet Billy Clinton had a few of those hidden in the walls over there. Because there's no denying that man, prefers female genitalia to his own. And I think that's okay, too. I think that's okay. I think it's obviously that he's in an arranged marriage where he's allowed to do that sort of thing. Or was allowed anyway. I think these days it's, these guys are getting a little bit older. What else, man? I will let you know that this episode is brought to you by Greyblock Pizza at 1811 Pico Boulevard. Greyblock has that salad pizza, and that's in Los Angeles. And they got all types of different pizza, They got the Bella Goat. They got a couple of different items, man. I'll read you one or two right here. They got them calzones. They got them beverages. They got the Venice, the deep cheese, the Frenchie. They got the Hunter, the Buster, spinach, button mushrooms, onions, tequila lime marinated chicken with mozzarella cheese on a garlic pesto sauce. Greyblock Pizza. Get that hitter. Oh, let's take this call.
Hey, Theo. Just want to get your thoughts on something. I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, and I've noticed that you always talk about how out in Hollywood and L.A. and it's hard for somebody from the South to kind of get accepted and get jobs, and also the media kind of knocks on people from the South. But I wanted to know your thoughts that here in Georgia that Hollywood films a ton of movies in Georgia, and they have studios in Atlanta. Marvel's done some stuff here. I know Tyler Perry's got a huge studio here. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. They knock the South so much, but they got no problems coming here and filming all their movies.
No, look, this is a great question. This is a great comment. I appreciate you calling about this. When I was growing up, an escape for me, I didn't like my life when I was growing up, and I didn't feel comfortable. I grew up in an area there was a lot of poverty, and I'm not looking for any sympathy here or empathy. I don't know which one, actually. I don't know the difference between them. But I grew up scared. They had a lot of dangerous white kids around me, and they had a lot of dangerous black kids around me. Because when you're in a poor area and there's extreme poverty, I don't care if those kids are black or white. A lot of them can be some real assholes. And it was scary. It was scary, dude. I'm not afraid to say that shit now as an adult, man. It wasn't cool. It was like staying at a Ramada. So it was alarming, man. And I used television and, things I would see that Hollywood created as like, oh, that's my life. That's what I could have. I love storytelling. I loved all of that. And so, eventually I ended up in Hollywood. And I ended up out here, and I ended up thinking, oh, well, this is a place I can come to all this time. I could go there, and it always seems like this place where you can go there and make your dreams become a reality, and everybody's welcome, and this and that. And then I get there, and it's been tough. I mean, there's no Southern accent. You cannot find a Southern accent on television. I don't feel like. I mean, especially on network TV. Name one actor with a Southern accent on network television. In the past 20 years, I can't even name one. And I'm totally happy to be wrong. There may be one or two. I mean, Blake Shelton, he's not an actor, but it's like Reba. You had Reba, which is one of the best shows ever. But it's just, it doesn't feel super welcome. And then you have a lot of celebrities make fun of people from other areas of the country that don't live in LA or don't live in New York or don't have a lot of money. They make fun of people like where I'm from. and it just, I don't know. It has left a sore taste in my mouth. But it doesn't mean I'm going to stop, trying to achieve some of my dreams or achieve some of my goals. But at the same time, you're right, brother. That Hollywood at the same time, because, California lets so many, they're so open to everyone and so open to this or that or whatever, that they don't get the tax breaks. It's too expensive to shoot here anymore because the state's, the budget's so bad. I mean, they're probably, who knows what they spend all the money doing? I don't know. Probably cleaning up all the shit in San Francisco off of the street. Dude, have you been to San Francisco? Well, I don't even recommend it. It's just people, just judgment and shit on the street. But I'll say this, man. But then they'll go to our southern cities and get the tax breaks happily. Oh, they'll happily come over to Atlanta and get those tax breaks. They'll happily go shoot in Wilmington, New Orleans. It's like they just use you. That's the thing. So I don't know. I guess I just feel a little bit, I don't know. I don't feel taken advantage of, but I feel like once you get to Hollywood and you see what's really going on, you see sometimes the hypocrisy of it. And it's a little bit sad. And I don't like sometimes how it's the same way how the news always makes fun of, the South. They always say these people are so racist. These people are this or that. But and I've said this before, but a lot of black people had to beg to be on the Academy Awards 2 years ago. There's tons of Latino people in America who aren't included in shit. But they don't even raise that big of a deal about it because they're usually just having a great time. But man, it's just like, I don't know. I just wish, we would just look at it the way it really is. That none of us are perfect and a lot of shit's messed up. And that this is a dirty business out here. So it's just a matter of how I conduct my own business. That's all I try and worry about. But I think it is messed up. A lot of Hollywood, elites will make fun of of places where we are from, but then they'll come there and get those tax breaks, won't they? And that's one thing I've realized, man, that money isn't loyal. And so I'm just going to keep doing me. And I'm going to keep doing my thing, and, and sometimes I realize I got to take back a little bit of that childhood angst that I had. I got to keep a little bit of that edge. What are they going to do about me? Because to be honest, I don't think they expected a kid like me to get out here. I really don't. I don't think they expected a kid off of McGee Street to get out here and be on the top stages coming in after, some of these big cats and these big dogs and performing, before and after some of the greats. I don't think they expected it. And I'm not saying that I'm anything special, but I'm saying that I'm here. And I know a lot of great people in this town. And I know a lot of great people that work hard and want to do good stuff. But I don't like that thing where they look at me or they hear my Southern accent. I mean, you want to talk about people not being welcome. If there's one group on television or two, I'd say it seems to me Vietnamese people and anyone with a Southern accent. I mean, you don't see a lot of them on television. So just seem pretty much, like, is this for everybody? Nah. Is it? Nah. But it's just crazy to get all the way this far and then to look around and be like, damn, am I even allowed here? Shit ain't for everybody. But you got to make your own way. You got to make your hole. You got to make your fold. And I think some of the ways you do it, and that's one thing I got to keep that. I can't, you can have a chip on your shoulder, but you can't really. Because you have to want the best for everybody, and you can't work always the best from a place of anger. And that's one thing I've learned over the time is that I think I used to be a little too angry. So now most of the time I try and look more at the positive, and I try to think more about the possibility, and I don't try to think as much they don't want me. I try to think that this is going to be a little bit harder for me. But thankfully, the life that my higher power has put me through it's been a little tricky here and there. And I think that's one thing that I'm grateful for, because then I can relate to other people who their life has been tricky. And even if it's been different tricky. I'm talking to a buddy of mine the other day through AA, a black friend of mine. And that's all I'll say, because you're not supposed to share a lot about him. But while he's talking, man, I'm looking in his eyes, dude, and I could feel like just this connect, just like a crazy connection, man. And I'm not saying nobody was trying to get their nuts out or anything like that, or put softener on each other's bodies or anything like that. Or sometimes they used to have these two gay men and we catch them. Sometimes they'd be doing a little bit of dust or burning, a couple packets of glass in a little pipe outside. And they would get some of that downy freshener. And you'd see them out there in the backyard at night. They'd put a couple towels on the ground and put downy freshener on each other's bodies, boy. And look, the only reason I watched is because that shit smelled good. Remember when you were a kid? Dude, if you grew up in my neighborhood, you didn't have parents, dude. You had the smell of downy freshener. I mean, if I smelled that downy freshener, man, it made me feel like everything was okay. I get that hit of downy freshener and I felt like everything was okay. Man, I remember, my father wasn't, and I get sometimes a little bit into this kind of stuff, and I don't want anything to be, talk about family stuff sometimes. I don't know if I could talk about some of this emo stuff too much, but my father, one of the best memories that I have, or thinking about smells and how they take care of us at times, and we'd see those double Ricky, bruh, because both these dudes were named Ricky, these gay men, and they were lovers, I think, or something, and they were both real lean, because they were out there, these were rest area, these were a couple of rest area bad boys. You'd see them out there by the interstate being bad boys. And they was smoking glass, and one of them worked up actually at one of them just rode a bicycle all the time. I don't know if that was a job, but he did it. And the other one worked at auto body, beating rust off of catalytic converters and shit like that, making recyclables, trying to get things, enough rust off of them for them to be considered recyclable. So I don't know if that's also a job either. But anyhow, we would, what was I going to say? Oh, but another smell, I remember I've said this before, the hardest working man I've ever known was my mom, and she had this cow skin rug in her room. And this is before animal rights. This is when animals didn't care, a lot of animals believed that they were here to sacrifice their lives so the rest of us could eat and stay warm and stuff like that. And a lot of animals still do. There are some animals that don't think that, and they, are raised in hell. But there are some that are still okay with that, because animals believe in reincarnation. Do you know that? Yeah, that's the one thing that's pretty cool about animals. They believe that when they die, they come right back as another animal, and even a cuter animal. So, I mean, if I were a armadillo, I'd take my own life, boy. And come back as a damn beautiful little koala. But my mom had this cow skin rug in her room, and I remember sometimes I'd lay in there and my mom would, my mom worked so much, the only time I get to spend a lot of time with her was at night. I would watch her get ready, brush her teeth and floss her teeth, and, she'd, have her nightgown on and she'd put on, lotion and just be like a lady, do lady type of stuff. Nothing wild or anything perverted, but I would lay there on that rug and I put my face up next to that cow skin, next to that hide. And I'd inhale that smell, and there was just that leather smell, that's that manly, that leather, just that, the embodiment of Clint, like a Clint Eastwood or the Ponderosa or, Montana, anything that seemed manly or virile. It came into my senses through that hide, and it filled my brain almost with like a father figure type of smell. And I remember at those moments were some of the moments that I felt most like familial, if that makes any sense, most okay, most part of like I had two moons, like I had, like it was just the most time where I felt like both my parents were very present. And that was when, in the evenings when I would see my mother, in a very womanly way, she'd have put her hair up or, and women would put nothing perverted, but just, she'd be in her night robe and, you'd smell like, lotion, arm lotion and all of that. And then I'd have that same smell of the hide from the cow, and it would make me feel, parented, if that means anything. And I know that's bizarre, but you just don't know where a smell is going to come into you and how it's going to resonate inside of you and make you feel. But yeah, so, but I got to live these days out here and not come from a place of anger, because I don't want to come from that place anyway. But every now and then, dude, I would be lying if I say that I didn't feel unwelcome here sometimes. But I'm not going to give up. And because you know why? Because I don't want there to be, here's what I don't think. I don't think that you teach anybody anything by making them feel unwelcome. I don't think man, I remember, especially whenever the election was going on and stuff, dude. I mean, people looked at me like I was, just people that had never even been to the towns I'm from, or the places I've lived, or the places you might have lived. People that have never even been there. Acting like people that are from these places are shit, or aren't as good as them, or aren't worth, being around them, because they might have some different thoughts or different beliefs, or they might just live in a different world. And I don't want that. That's what I don't want. I want there to be, because that doesn't help anybody. Because now if there's a kid sitting at home where I was sitting, and he's watching and he's listening to, one of his favorite celebrities, and they're telling him that the people from his town or his parents, just because they voted a certain way or they behave a certain way, or not behave, but because I don't mean behavior, but because they're from an area where, that is more conservative or has more, I don't know, fucking owns an animal that lives outdoors. What about that? Has a dog that sleeps on the porch? That suddenly that they're bad people? Because that doesn't help that kid. That doesn't help the next me that's somewhere. That doesn't help him. It doesn't help him. In fact, it just makes him angry. It just makes him angry. And if he's already has a lot of questions in his mind, then it not only does it make him angry at the celebrity that he cared about, but then it also makes him angry. It could even make him angry at his parents. And so then where does he have? Because or what if he used Hollywood as an escape? Some of these shows, and now his favorite celebrities are judging him. It doesn't do anything. There's no solution there. There's no solution. I don't think, anyway, and I'm okay to be wrong with that. So, I want a kid, if they see me or they hear me talking about it, they're like, oh, this kid can do it. This kid sounds a little bit like me. Because look, I get it. People live in different Americas, dude. They are different. And I even go, it's like, people talk about, remember when they had the statues in Louisiana and they were taking the statues down in New Orleans? And I can totally see it. I see it, like if there's a statue and it represents if the general was a slave owner or something like that, and, and half the city's population is black, and that makes, I get that. I understand it. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But that's also, I remember growing up in that area, and we would go meet at the Robert E. Lee statue, and everybody would meet up and have fun together, black or white. And it was at the statue. Nobody there gave a fuck. So then it's just this outside judgment comes in. And look, sometimes, and then maybe sometimes it's an evolution of time, and, another generation starts to have a different perspective, and that's fine. I get it. And since the statues have been taken down, I don't think most people give a dang. But I just don't like some of that judgment when people who don't live somewhere start saying, oh, this is how it needs to be over there. You know, just because those people live by the water, as Bill Burr says. Just because you live by the water, you think you know it all. It's just not fair. It's not, because you don't. You don't know what it's like there. You don't live there. You live where you live. And if you're bored because your life's so comfortable, oh, lucky you. You know, and I live here now. So it's been interesting, man. I didn't mean to go so deep on this, but, you know, things happen, man. Let's take a call right here on the hotline. Dude, I got we have the best calls ever, I believe, have come in on this episode. I'm so grateful for anybody that has hit the hotline. You can always hit the hotline if you have any thoughts or suggestions or commentary on anything that's being discussed on this podcast. Don't feel like you don't have a voice. The number is 985-664-9503. This episode is brought to you by Spectre. Spectre is a binary options trading platform that takes the middleman out of trading. No more middleman. No more shiesty guy showing up in a camel hair suit, you know, with a stack of money on a stick on his back. No more of that. Okay? It's all crypto based. So all transactions happen on the blockchain, straight off the blockchain, meaning there is no broker that could potentially rip you off or charge excessive fees. No more brokers. Try the demo today at the link below and in the episode notes. It comes with $60,000 in cryptocurrency for you to play with. You want to trade US dollars for Japanese yen? Get out there. You just got to click the Spectre link. You want to trade British pounds for euros? Click the Spectre link. You want to trade dollars for cryptos or just learn more about cryptocurrencies and trading in general? Click the Spectre link. Try the demo with the Spectre link below and in the episode notes. And within minutes, you will feel like a Wall Street trader with all the tools that the big dogs use. Once you get the hang of it, sign up for a verified account and start making real trades with real money. Sorry, America, real trades are for outside of the United States only, but you can practice as much as you want still. Try the demo, play with the simulated 60,000 and see if you have what it takes at the Spectre link below and in the episode notes. All right, let's get into a call right now. Here we go.
What's up, Theo? This is Kelby out here in Kentucky, man, in southern Kentucky.
Wow, Kelby in southern Kentucky. I didn't know there was a southern Kentucky, really. That's a double entendre. Thank you for calling, Kelby. Onward.
And I just had a question on what you might be thinking. I am 23 years old, and I have, developed a little bit of baldness on the top.
Okay, boy, you got that baby's ass on the top, huh? That's beautiful, dude. Dude, in some countries, that's a sign of, hope. I think in Japan, that's a sign of hope. If you don't have any hair on your head, people think, oh, man, I hope he's okay with that. Maybe. Onward.
And I decided to shave my head about a year ago, and I've been doing it ever since. Now, since then, people who once knew me have asked me questions such as, am I racist now?
Damn, dude, I don't mean to laugh, bro. That is hilarious. Yeah, look, this goes perfectly into what we're talking about. Just because you have a southern accent now and because you want to have a haircut, suddenly you're racist. You know? That's like people, just because they see my haircut, they ask, am I a lesbian? Totally messed up. Let's hear more.
Or made jokes that I'm a skinhead. And I think, maybe they're involved a little bit in the dark arts, because who's to be judging me after I just changed my appearance a little?
It's so true, man. It's so true. Just because how many options you got? You bald-headed. How many options you got? Kirby? Sorry, it's not Kirby. What is it? Damn, I don't want to go back and check. Let me think. Kirby. Nope. It's, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to butcher your name here, but sometimes I like to guess things instead of, just check what they are. Hey, Theo, this is Berkey. It's not Berkey. Nuh-uh. But yeah, dude, sorry, I can't guess it. But yeah, it's fucked up, right? Just because you have a certain style of cut, now suddenly, you're a white supremacist. Or you're going to start a gang in prison just because you can't fucking grow any hair. Just because God don't want you to have hair doesn't mean he then wants you to be part of some vile group. Let's hear more.
And, my accent doesn't help, and I know that, but I just wanted your opinion on young guys who maybe have to make a big change in their appearance that wasn't their choice, but just something that old Mother Nature had planned for them.
And look, man, I'll say this. I think it's probably I bet at a certain point it's relaxing to have that hair, to have no hair. Because it's, in a way, it's almost just like letting your hair grow and just go anyway. It's like the opposite of that, but it's the same thing. You don't have to worry about it. Dude, I used to worry so much, Brother Kirby. I'm going to call you Brother Kirby now because I don't want to go back and listen because I don't want to. I'll go listen. All right. What is it?
What's up, Theo? This is Kelby out here in Kentucky, man, and Southern.
Kelby. Thank you, Kelby. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kelby, it's, it's not, it's messed up. That's just how you're going to be. But I bet it is relaxing because I noticed when I used to have a regular haircut, man, clean cut, and I was always trying. I always felt like I had to look a certain way, and and I was thinking, I wish, I wish my neck was longer, and I still wish that my neck was just a little bit longer, not much. And I've actually even kind of figured it out. I think I almost pretty much just wish about 3/8 of an inch. But I had all these little things, and it was just so stressful. And I'm always, I got a big nose, and I got big ears, and I got, my eyes look like I don't know a lot. If you look in my eyes, I got all these things that made me feel inferior. And I was always just standing in a way to, let me stand up straight and just put your chin out a little so you have a little more chin, and don't look at anything like in the center of your face because you'll look cross-eyed. Just all these things, just so I could try and appear normal. And then one day, man, that all got lifted off of me. And I just said, I don't give a damn. Get in there. And I just let this shit roll out of my head. I just let my hair grow out, man. And I just made sure that I was brushing my teeth. And that's when I started feeling okay. But yeah, sometimes we have to change our appearance, and sometimes, God changes our appearance, or the world around us changes our appearance, or, our life just changes our appearance. And we got to adapt. And, you might lose a leg and suddenly you got to tie off a lot of your pants, or you got to, go to that pants, that website that's just one side of pants. But then you can get pants, you could cut your original pants into, you can cut them into half and just kind of have, and have two pairs of pants out of one pair of pants. Almost. You can't really, though, because you don't have the top part. But it's like when we got to make those adjustments, man, you got to do it. And in the end, it's about you feeling okay with it. When you go bald, when you go that full natural, dude, there's a lot of fun things you can do. You could do a scented lotion. You could do a mural. You could do some art. You could do a tattoo. And then, over the parts where the hair is going to grow back. So then you got that tattoo, but you also, your hair is going to grow back over some of it. So you could do something fancy like that. You could do Christmas earrings. You can do some, if you have your ears pierced, you could do beautiful Christmas earrings and do that and be that party boy with them bells off his lobes. So there's different options. There's different specialty options that you can do. And I hope you find some peace around there. Let's hear a little bit more of your call here.
But yeah, if you can give me any insight on that, I'd appreciate it, man. And I really appreciate your podcast. I recently found it, and it's did a lot of good for me in trying to understand some of these things I've been thinking about.
And you know what you're saying right there, man, that I love to hear is thinking about. because that's what we got to be doing, Kelby. We have to be thinking about stuff. One thing I will notice, as much as there's so much like judgment about places that aren't, I noticed there's a lot of judgment, man. I noticed it in San Francisco last week. Dude, San Francisco, that place is, dude, I never felt as much judgment in my life walking around there. LA has this kind of like, you're too rich. People are too rich. They make you feel less than. But this other thing was happening in San Francisco where it felt, and not everywhere in the Bay. I'm not saying that. I was out in Alameda and people seemed down, and people seemed a little bit more normal. I'm saying in San Francisco, and you had, first of all, it's so expensive there that even if you get locked out of your house for an hour, you might not be able to afford to get back in. If you lose your keys. So there's an element of that going on where it's definitely, it's way too expensive. So they, for as welcoming as it is, you're only welcome if you got money. Look, if you don't have money, you ain't welcome. You know what I'm saying? That's like I was in Hawaii 7 weeks ago, and they had a tortoise there, and they had an endangered tortoise, and I went right up to it. Some lady's like, back up. She said, if you touch it, it's a $5,000 fine if you touch that tortoise. And I'm like, damn, so only rich people can touch it. That's all that is. And I don't mean that I'm just saying that's the facts. People price themselves out so much. So then you have a bunch of people having to spend all this money to live somewhere, and they just seemed angry. They just seemed angry. I never felt as much kind of anger in the air. But just as much as they look at places that don't want to seem progressive, like places where I'm from, there's a thing that I don't like about places. Some of the places where I'm from is people that don't want to be progressive in their thoughts. We have to continue to think. We have to continue to think about different ways and not just get set where we are. And do I have an answer on how to do that? Nah, man. I don't really. But a lot of times if we can't think for ourselves or we can't find a different way, sometimes just listening to somebody else that's different from us, that can help us a little bit. We might not agree with it, but if we get a little piece of something from them. But that's what I liked about this call, Kelby, is that you're thinking. You're not just sitting there thinking, fuck, I'm a bald-headed wildcat. I'm going to go join, some type of damn, I'm going to go to prison. Now, some people, they lose all their hair. They're like, fuck, I need to go to prison now and join a cult or something or be a man's lover just because, so it fits with my bald head. Or I need to be what other job is somebody that's often kind of bald? There's always that bald guy that works on the airlines. He's a male flight attendant. Some bald men will be like, so, I lost all my hair. Now I need to, suddenly start dating men and work for an airline. But you're not doing that. You're just saying, hey, I lost all my hair. Now let me think. Let me think about when I don't like that people judge me just because I have a Southern accent. Man, it's the same type of shit where it's so many people saying, don't judge. But then the second they take the low-hanging fruit. Like it's easy to be poor and white. Man, it makes me upset sometimes, but that's okay. That's part of our journey, man. That's part of our journey and we all have it. And that's where I try to relate with people on their journey, man. But let's get another call right here. Here we go.
Hey, Theo. I had a self-esteem question for you, man.
Okay, thanks for calling.
In middle school, I gained a whole bunch of weight. I was a heavy boy. I'm from the South as well. When I gained...
Wow, a lot of Southerners today. Thank you for calling. You gained some weight in middle school. Let's go.
A lot of weight. I developed breast.
Oh, boy. Dude, I'll tell you this story. You're making me think about this right now. And I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. Man, they had this big boy when I was growing up. And dude, he got them first. He got them tots first, And they had one girl in our school that had them, but she was, her family was, heavily with the Lord, and their dad locked, they kept all the kids locked up in the yard. And about a year and a half later, I ended up feeling her breath through a barbed wire fence, catching that catching that tatay with my palm, just palming down that freaking young, I don't even know if it was a tit yet, but it was going to be a tit, it was on a girl. So, and that still counts. And she let me touch that warm lump. And we were both children, so that's totally legal. But I remember I used to go sleep at my buddy's house because he got tits kind of first, and he was a bigger boy. But man, I'd sleep over there, dude, and I swear, man, my penis would get so hard, bro. Not at him, but at the tits. And I would even put my hands like this. So I wouldn't see the rest of his body. I would just see the breasts. Because I wasn't thinking about men. I was just thinking about tits, And so I would just see it, I would just make a little kind of squint area where I could see them big, beautiful, them just flash bulbs of straight up, them straight up leche duffels, them beautiful bags. And I would love that, man. And I would just get so keyed up and fired up. And I remember I'd get so erect sometimes as a child, I'd pass out, I'd be unconscious. Cause I would get, cause I'm thick in that, I got that strong, it's not really a baby arm. It's like two baby's arms and his legs, and he's standing straight up with his arms and legs like that, just in a straight line. I got that capacity. I got that cockpacity. And so when that thing takes on the blood, when it doesn't all call for that blood and that hemoglobin, when everything rushes into daddy's, into that ballast tank, the rest of me kind of sometimes will just faint. I used to get erect and faint a lot as a child, but I remember first breasts I ever saw on a beautiful thick boy in my neighborhood, and a friend of mine, he was. And I'll say this, man, that there's nothing wrong with that. Let's hear more.
Man titty. They've been there ever since. Man titty.
Okay, you got the man titty.
They've been there ever since. I'm 27 now. I've lost a lot of weight. Even in the past year, I've lost 40 pounds.
Wow, congratulations, man. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine the stick-to-itiveness it's taken to do that. So I hope you feel a lot of pride in yourself, man. I hope that, people say to me a lot, Theo, you should take a moment and think of, where you were before in certain aspects of your life. It can even be a couple weeks ago with an attitude and where you are now. But I hope you recognize that, man. That's a huge thing to lose 40 pounds, and you must feel a lot of pride. Let's hear more.
So the thing that was tough, man, is the self-esteem is low, man. I'm going to the beach next weekend with my family. The idea of taking my shirt off and being around the beach is terrible. I've been to the beach before, man, and I've tried to make light of the situation. I've kind of told jokes about how it's okay for me to take my shirt off because I'm a male, even though I have titties bigger than half the females on the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm kind of feeling a little bit sorry that I wasn't making fun earlier, but I was telling you a story that kind of, I guess, correlated to maybe some of those things might have, kind of, I don't know, I hope that didn't bum you out at all, because I really enjoyed seeing that on my friends. But, I can imagine what it was like for him, and now I'm kind of learning that perspective. Let's hear some more.
Just trying to figure out, man, how can I, embrace it, and surgery is an option, but it's about,
Yeah, that surgery, I know it's about $500 to $7,500, and then you also have to wear special shirts and stuff after.
$5,000, and then you have to take about 2 weeks off of work.
All right, man. I appreciate that call, man. It's brave to call about that. I mean, if you're nervous, I'll say a couple of things. One, if you're nervous about the surgery, obviously, I'm sure you've probably researched it and talked to people, and you can find other people that have had it. I have a friend, actually, a comedian friend, who was just telling me the other day that he had this same issue, and then he ended up having the surgery, and that finally, after years, a lot of that inferiority, and I don't know if that's shame, but just that nervousness has gone away from him, because obviously he's, his body looks different now, but that ran real heavily with him for a while. Yeah, man, that's tough. because you want to just have your shirt off and just be at the beach and feel free. You know, you want to maybe even get fully naked and have a damn, a turkey burger or a little baby Julius burger. What is that thing called? A sloppy Joe, not baby Julius. What am I thinking of? What? And so you want to have, you almost want to get fully naked and have a sloppy Joe. I'm trying to think of, I wish there was a special shirt that was for a dope ass man that had some kind of little bit of a light, kind of thicker in that, them breasticles. I wish they had a man like, that could kind of, like a man's ear, just kind of something, even if Under Armour made one or something. So I don't know. I mean, I guess, it's tough, dude, because I know that probably is tough for you. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, what would I do? I would probably wear some type of Under Armour type of thing where I could still be athletic a little bit and get some sun, but I would still be able to take care of that part of me where I didn't, if it's going to make you so self-conscious that you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself at all, then maybe for now I would still, maybe wear a shirt. Because here's the thing, you're going to the beach. You want to have fun. You don't want to not be able to enjoy yourself. So, for now, I would do what's going to make you feel okay and bring you the most joy. Now, say you go full throttle, when you got them A coupes out there, you got them, them lowercase A's out there. Then I think have some fun. Have some fun. I mean, accept the fact that you're probably going to get some looks. Know that in advance. And then maybe have some fun with it. Now, here's a fun thing you could do. You could get one of those Tahitian type of things with the coconut bra things, like Fred Flintstone wears, because that's something that's fun and it's would still kind of, cover up some of your nervousness. So maybe that's something fun that you could do, but if it continues to bother you, I don't think there's any shame in getting a surgical procedure if you can afford it. I don't know how that works with insurance or anything like that. But you know what, man? I want to know how that beach goes. And even if it doesn't go well, I want to know that. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to circle back with you and find out just kind of the truth if you can take me through some more of that. Because I know that kind of stuff is tough, man. When we feel our bodies are a certain way. Man, I've always hated like the slope of my shoulders. Dude, ever since I was young, it's a little different now, but I had a real Diaz booty. I had the same buttocks and hips that a lot of Down syndrome men and women had. And a lot of black girls, we had the same butt. And so I'd always get all these wild jokes and, I'd feel nervous. Everybody wanted me to twerk all the time and shit. And I'm like, fuck, So I feel you, man. It's tough. It's tough when we live in this world that puts so much on how we look. And we're so self-aware too. And then we have this, something that really stands out. I mean, dude, I wish I could wear a brassiere over my nose sometimes. My nose is kind of a C cup. So I got that C cup whiffer. But thanks for calling, man, and for just for not thinking and not feeling that stuff alone. If you go out to the beach, I hope you have a blast. No matter how you play it, I hope you have a blast, man. All right, let's get into another call here.
Hey, this is Stevie from up in West Virginia. I had a question for you. What is the biggest misconception that you've come across being from the South? Personally, I was at a Six Flags, and somebody was actually surprised to see that I owned a pair of shoes. So I was wondering, what kind of weird stereotypes or misconceptions you've come across during the years.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, that somebody thought you didn't have shoes, then that's wild. The biggest misconception maybe that I've had from the South, I think, is just that people think that you are just going to be racist. Because there's definitely a lot more racial environment growing up in the South. And I find it's that there was a lot of just, I found it was more hatred when I was young, just going both ways. There was a lot of, and there was a lot of black kids that were extremely mean to white kids. And there was a lot of, or people and vice versa. And I don't know when it started. I know historically when things started between those two races, but I think it was probably, you know, it's probably just the assumption that everybody's going to be racist. You know, or that, like, people will come up to me and refer to me as redneck kind of stuff sometimes. And that makes me mad. It makes me a little bit upset. I don't mind being rural. The other day, a girl referred to me as white trash. And that kind of made me mad. You know, kind of to me, like, I've never dealt with the N-word situation, but it felt like that's kind of, you know, so I don't know what that feels like, but it felt like kind of a dagger like that to me. You know, like them saying something that put me in a place that I couldn't escape from as far as they were concerned, so that it made them feel like they were better than me. And that shit made me mad. Because I also say this though, that yeah, growing up in the South, there's a lot more racial shit you grew up around. Dude, there's a lot more people saying all kinds of stuff. Everybody. Dude, and even out in LA, you hear low-key people saying racist stuff all the time. On both sides of the tracks. Both sides of the net. Both sides of the Roy G. Biv. Of that, of the color palette. But that's one, probably, that I'm ignorant. You know, I felt for years, as sad as it is, that I had to hide the fact that I wasn't ignorant. You know, I tried to pretend like I was. You can even, you know, I had to use satire because I was afraid to even sharing in my real feelings sometimes. So a lot of times I have to disguise or hide my thoughts and my ideas sometimes through satire because I'm afraid that they're not going to be accepted, you know, or that I'm not going to be heard. You know, I don't know, man. I'm still learning a lot about this, but that's a wild question. I appreciate you calling in, young lady. Let's take another call here. Here we go.
What's up, Theo, man? This is Adam from North Carolina. Man, I just want to tell you that I really enjoyed that episode with Stevie Starlight.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate that. Yeah, Stevie Starlight was wild. He came in. He was 45 minutes late. I'll say that. I didn't say that, but he came in. He wanted to go have a cigarette break. I'm like, break from what, bruh? You just got here 45 minutes late, Daddy-O. Let's go. You know, I'm paying a crew. What you think, Daddy? You know, I know you've been out in orbit, Stevie Starlight, but look, we need you here in the galaxy. But we had a great time, man. And, you know, he had this, I mean, that It's Never Too Late to Come Over. That's a beautiful song. And so I was so grateful that he came in and we had fun, man. His girlfriend came and sat in here on the couch, and it was neat to just talk to somebody who come out here who come to Los Angeles with a dream and to hear what they thought and what he thought. All right, let's take another call right here. Oh, let's finish that call up.
You guys did a phenomenal job, and he's a great guest, man. I'd really love to have him back if you can. And also, I look forward to seeing you in Raleigh, North Carolina, man. I got my tickets and everything. Can't wait. See you, bro. Be good.
Gang, man. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll definitely see you in Raleigh. And I'll see everyone this weekend at June 15th and 16th in Calgary, Alberta, Canada at Yuck Yucks. Then I'll be in Bakersfield, California the following weekend. Then the following weekend, I'll be in Stark County, Illinois, a fundraiser in my mother's hometown at the Paramount Theater. Then July 6th through 8th, the following weekend, I'll be at Levity Live in Oxnard, California. And then July 20th through 22nd, Charlie Goodnights in Raleigh, North Carolina. Some new dates added on. Toronto Just for Laughs Festival, and that is September 20th through the 24th. Go get the pass. You got to go onto the Just for Laughs website, go get the pass, and pick the shows that I am on so you can come and see me perform. I promise I'm going to do my best while I'm there. I promise you I'm going to do my best. Also, we have Washington, D.C. has been added. That's November 30th through December 1st at the Comedy Loft. November 9th and 10th, Salt Lake City. We're going to get over there. I'm really excited. And we're going to do some magic there at Wise Guys in Salt Lake City. Other dates, there's some other cities. Go to theovon.com/tour, TOUR. What else, man? We'll go to a couple more calls here, man, and then we'll probably, we might try to get through this, but we have so many great calls. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Theo? This is Jay from Texas, man, calling.
What's up, Jay? Thank you for calling, brother.
And wanted to get your thoughts on some things. I'm actually, this past weekend, my dad passed away.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. You know, I don't know you or your father, but I know that's a very real moment in somebody's life. This is a moment. This is a moment that is very thick, and that will be a real hinge, or can be a real hinge in your life for a long time on a lot of levels. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Onward.
And it was pretty much unexpected. He was 58 years old. He didn't take the best care of himself, but I didn't expect him to die of a massive heart attack at that age either, so I just don't know really where to go from here. I'm the oldest in my family, so I'm the leader of the family, so I feel like I can't really fuck off and do whatever I want to do. It's therapeutic for me. I feel like I gotta, move to where my family is and kind of take care of them. My dad was the only person that supported me, saying I didn't want to have a normal job and those type of things. And now that he's gone, it seems like the whole world depends on me to take care of him.
Okay, thank you for sharing this stuff, this information here. I'm gathering you're saying that your father, he was one of the few people who, kind of sided with you on, you kind of live in this more freedom type of lifestyle, doing what you wanted to do. And that now that just because that you're the oldest and that you have to be the leader, you're feeling. Now, is that a pressure that you're feeling to be the leader? Or is that a pressure that people are putting on you to be the leader? Because look, just because you're the oldest, you would think, that the oldest is going to be the leader. But if people aren't asking you to, then that's a role that you can assume if you want to, but that's going to come with, the leader. That's short for leadership. So that's going to take a lot of effort. And, if it sounds like you in your life right now, just look, man, and I don't know. And I'm not telling you anything, but I'm just trying to gather things here that I'm hearing you say, that you like to have a little bit more of a freedom lifestyle, that your dad kind of supported that, then yeah, you would probably, I don't know what that means to you, but you'd probably have to make some adjustments and some changes. But if people aren't beating down your door to be the leader or to say, to take the reins, or just because you're the oldest, then don't put that pressure on yourself if it's not a pressure that, if it's just a pressure that you're putting on yourself only to have a reaction to his passing. Sometimes people, something tragic happens or something goes on, and we'll take anything almost as a blanket or as a shield, or, we'll create a new shell. And sometimes, I'd hate to see you create, a shell like, oh, I need to be the leader now, but it's too much, but I'm not going to do it. And then you end up in this spiral of not taking care of yourself, fighting against this definition, this new definition of you that no one even asked you to define yourself as. I just hate to see you get in a wild circle there. But it sounds like you are starting to think about some stuff. And I commend you there, because that's probably going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. There's something about when our parents are alive where we feel like that we still have this mulligan out in the world. And then we still have this ability to error because they're still alive. And then when that cloud is gone, then suddenly you're the one that's getting hit by the sun. The light is shining on you. When that cover of our parents is gone. And so this is a big moment where, you're probably going to have more light shine on you, and you're going to be the one looking at yourself. It sounds like these are things that you might be asking yourself. Onward.
If you had any advice, man, I'd appreciate it. It sounds like I'm smoking. I am smoking a big fat blunt, so, sometimes you got to do it. Anyway, peace.
Dang, boy. You hitting that heater, boy. You hitting that 6 feet thunder, huh? Gang, man. Well, look, if your father just passed, you don't have to answer every question right away. So maybe hit that blunt and take a week off and take it easy. But there's going to be a lot of emotions going on. And if you check out all the time and you just get high every time, or you just do that, you might be escaping a great opportunity to really feel some feelings. It's rare in life that things really create huge feelings inside of us. And bro, that can be you want to get high, dude, or you want to take a ride, bro? Let your feelings get you, son. Let your feelings, dog. You blaze up a couple of grams of your own feelings and feel that hitter, son. Get that hitter. All right, let's take another call here. Here we go.
What's up, Theo?
What's up?
I woke up this morning and my parents told me that they were going out with another couple to see an oldies band, and I'm in Atlanta, and they said the name of the band is the Swinging Medallions. So I just wanted to know if you had anything to say about that. All right, bye.
Okay, wow. So, bro, obviously your parents are the Swinging Medallions. You woke up, your parents said they're going out of town, they're going to see a band. Dude, your parents are swingers, bro. How many clues do you need, Cat Daddy? Cat Daddy. How many clues do you need? Your parents are swingers, dude. They're going to meet up with another couple, the Swinging Medallions. They probably can't fuck at the house with their buddies. They can't do that buddy fucking because you're at the house. Dude, you moved in. You're ruining the party, boy. Get a job, daddy. Are you working at the library, son? Well, check yourself out of there and go get that job. Work for a bigger company. Go work for, Chevrolet, Enron, Nabisco. Get out there. So your parents can do that, straight up play Twister. They can bring a couple of spare DX over to the house and play Twister, dude. Come on. Your parents trying to live a little, and you over there in the morning sharing off the same jug of milk as them. Come on, man. Get out there and get that hitter of your own life. Here we go.
Hello there, Theo. My name's Javelin. I was wanting to just...
Whoa. Javelin? Okay, dude, that's a weapon. That's your name? That's a weapon, brother. But thank you for calling. You're from another country, man, and I appreciate that. And onward.
Hello there, Theo. My name's Javelin. I was wanting to just call you. A big fan of the show, and I was just wanting to throw out a topic out there.
Throw out. That's hilarious. And your name's Javelin, dude. That's like, because you have to, look, man, no offense. It's not, but that's like somebody saying, hey, my name is Baseball Bat, My name is, Nunchuck. You're like, Chuck? You're like, no, Nunchuck. Bro, that is a weapon, dude. You got that crazy name. I bet you can, a lot of ladies like that. They like that fierce man. Onward, Javelin.
I was just wanting to throw out a topic out there for you to discuss. I was just curious if you have ever put any thought towards reincarnation. Do you think there's a possibility for it? Would you like that? Found out that were true? Yeah, just various things in that area. Just sort of what your thoughts on the concept of there being reincarnation.
Yep, I appreciate you asking about reincarnation, or reincar, as a lot of people call it for short. And I'll say this, reincarnation makes a lot of sense to me, and here's why. Because the only thing I know for a fact is that I exist here. I know that. I know I exist here. If you don't get into all the theories about, simulation and all of that, whatever it is called, whatever it's singularity, if you don't get in all of that stuff, the only thing I know for sure is that I exist here, that I showed up on a ball of dirt and water in the middle of a vast expanse of darkness, and that I exist here. So that's proof. I am living proof of that. So reincarnation to me makes a lot of sense, because all you're saying is that would happen again. that when I die and, and zone out from here and disappear, that I would come back here or a place similar, I guess. That seems very possible because it's already happened to me one time, this time right now. So reincarnation, yeah. So you're telling me what just happened to me could happen to me again? That is very believable because it just happened to me. That's like saying, hey, if I burn my hand on the stove, somebody's saying, hey, you know what? When you die, you could burn your hand on the stove again. I'd be like, you know what? That sounds feasible. So reincarnation, man, gang, gang. I feel that all day. All right, let's get into this. We still have to assign a best or worst weekend for last month, and we do have our winner. Every month, you can hit the hotline 985-664-9503 and tell us about your best weekend or your worst weekend. Try to keep it to 90 seconds or less. If you go over 90 seconds, you're going to disqualify yourself. And this is our winner for May. Let's hear it one more time. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, Theo? I'm a college student. I'm studying biology, and I've been supporting myself by working a third shift at a gas station, kind of in the ghetto of the city my college is in.
G-Unit!
And it's usually all right, but last night about 6 guys came in, and they just bought a gas can and put like 2 gallons of gasoline in it, and they seemed really calm, real chill, nice guys when they left, but
oh, yeah, dude. 6 guys, 1 gallon of gas, bro. Woo! That sounds like a gay camp out about to go down. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a real barn burner. And Barn is this dude that we met a couple towns over, and he's down the fuck. Onward.
They came back like 2 hours later, just high as fuck, probably on meth. They were free.
Probably on gas, bro. 6 dudes, 1 gallon. That ain't much. If you playing huffs, come on.
Freaking out. And they were trying to return the gas can because it was like $12, but the store policy is you can't return gas cans once there's been gas in them.
Hey, that's a blanket policy, baby. That's my policy too. If you borrow a cup from me, you put gas in it. That's your cup.
So they were like yelling at me and talking all at once, saying they were going to stab me if I didn't and cut my head off and shit.
And that's scary when 6 dudes, all with gas on their breath, are telling you they's about to ISIS you up over a little bit of petrol.
You know, I was a Marine out of high school, so I'm not afraid of any man, but, 6 make me really concerned. They ended up yelling at me for the gas can for a little bit more, and they bought like $400 of random gas station food shit, and like a lot of lottery tickets, a fuck ton of them. They ended up leaving on their own. Spent like $400, $500 on them, and they left, told me I was a fuck, and that was my weekend.
Man, you know what? Thanks for your service, bro. Thanks for your service station as well. Because that, it's crazy. You've been through the Marines and you still got to go through the boot camp of bullshit when 6 ignorant people show up. Man, I'll be dang. People that bask in their own ignorance, sometimes it's too much. But thanks for calling, man. And guess what? You got that May hitter. So we will have our producer Chris will reach out to you and take care of you and send you this past weekend prize pack. We got that Correctional Center blue T-shirt, that TPW. The only way you can get it is by winning this monthly contest. So thank you so much, and thank you again for your service, man. And be safe out there. And when I come to your city, man, I'm gonna make sure that I get you some tickets to the show, dude. You and one friend who don't drink gas, bro. Unless y'all ride on 91 octane. I won't hang out with anybody. If y'all sipping on 89, stays away from daddy. But if y'all on that 91, zip, let's go. But thank you for calling, man. Thank you so much. And we have a submission for this month. Somebody hit the hotline, 985-664-9503 for June. And here is that submission for this past weekend for this month. Here we go.
Hey, Theo, what's up? This is Josh from Wisconsin. I was calling about this past weekend. I had a really good weekend. Started out on Friday. I took the day off, smoked ribs for the first time, which was an interesting experiment. Kind of dried them out a little bit, but, I was kind of happy with that. Then Saturday, I got to go to the shooting range with my brother, my wife, and his girlfriend. And then after that, got to go fishing with both my brothers and two of my nephews and my wife. And then also sang karaoke for the first time. The main song I wanted to sing, my buddy already sang, so didn't want to do that and bite his shit. And then defaulted to another one that I know really well, and they didn't have it. So I was really drunk, and I ended up picking a song by Mariah Carey called Touch My Body. And I was just, it did not go well at all, but it was a fun experience, man.
Thank you for calling. That's a great submission for this past weekend. You went fishing. You went to a shooting range with your brother and your wife and didn't kill either one of them. And these days, that's a rarity, and that is to be applauded. You know, a lot of times if you get tickets for a cruise or a shooting range or something and you're married or have a spouse or you have a brother that you guys are in business together and the LLC wasn't formed correctly and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're riding home with an empty passenger seat. But it's nice to know that that's not occurring. And then you went out and got that karaoke. You know, you got that Japanese music stylings. And you got out there and you guys did it all. And you did the Mariah Carey, Touch My Body. And a man that goes shooting with his wife and can then finish off the evening singing Touch My Body. I mean, that sounds like a beautiful weekend to me. And you threw in the nieces and nephews there that you had fun as well. So that's a great submission for this month for June for this past weekend. So thank you very much. We'll keep that in. At the end of the month, we'll pick a winner. We also have on the website, theovon.com/tour. You can get tickets, theovon.com/store. You can get merch. A lot of great new Get That Hitter shirts. We got, we got all the new hitters, man. We got that Thoughtweiler shirt. A lot of stuff's out there. So get out there and get involved. Thank you guys so much. I'll be seeing you in Calgary this weekend. As well, on the website, on the podcast link, you can submit video questions. So you can go there as well. And next week, we'll start incorporating those. We've gotten a few, and we'll incorporate those starting next week. I want to thank everybody again that came out there in Oklahoma, man. I had, just good people. Good people came out and made me really feel a part of the environment there. And we had our first single mom. We had our first single mom's night out, and man, we treated her well. And her name is Julie, and I'm going to do a follow-up with her this week, and we'll put that out. But man, her and her friend came out and they picked out their own table and we did a couple of nice things for them. And so I want to thank you guys so much and thank Patreon so much for just that support and making that happen. And we want to make that a reality. We'll do it again in probably another 2 weeks and see if we can't just do another trial run of getting that to become something that's going to be a regular part of being out on the road. And so I want to thank the people over at Patreon for helping make that special night a reality. Man, it was cool. And we'll put a video up this week and some photos and some actual video footage that we got meeting Julie as well. Thank you guys. We just got to stay at it. We might have a chip on our shoulder, but sometimes we got to keep, at a certain point, man, that chip doesn't always serve us well. So we got to, you got to put a little bit of sauce on that chip. You got to fancy that thing up with the new things you learn and the new places we find ourselves. Because, man, that old anger chip, that thing doesn't serve me anymore. And sometimes I use it. Sometimes I use it when I'm by myself and I need to straighten my spine, or I need to get out of bed, or I need to stand up for myself. Sometimes I got to go back to that that Rottweiler boy that was inside of me. Sometimes I got to go back to that kid, that felt alone or felt unwanted or felt scared or felt disrespected or felt left behind or felt less than or felt poor or felt unappreciated or felt like he wasn't part of something or felt unloved. Or felt whatever it was that you felt or that I felt. Sometimes you go back and you can draw from that. But if that's not our truth right now, then you got to put that on your back. That ain't a front pack. That's a backpack now. And you can use it to power you where you can, but we got to get out there and keep our mind open. and keep our mind open and keep thinking and keep moving forward. And we'll find good things, man, that'll keep, you'll find good things that'll pull you further along. You won't always have to use that, that raw energy, that gritty, that gritty gunpowder that's in your system from whatever wronged you. You won't always have to use that to power yourself. Because there's a lot of good people out there, and you're going to see that look in their eyes, and you're going to know, okay, this is safe. This is another safe few feet, or another safe relationship for me to go into, or another safe friendship, and you're going to keep going, you're going to keep learning. And that's going to become your fuel. Each other. The good ones out there. And I'm not saying I'm a good one, but I'm not saying I'm not. So...
reasons. Many of them can actually track it back to the whole sin of Jews killing Jesus. And since then, the Catholic Church in Europe and many Christians in Europe have really dealt with Jewish people in a horrible way.
Yeah, well, and you should have killed somebody else. I think because they're going to hold that against you. Some people are. You should have killed whoever else was there.
Yes, exactly.
Or not Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know who did or where it was. Was it like one of those murder mystery dinners or something like that?
No, because it was the new religion, and then there was the whole idea about like Jews pushing the Roman ruler to crucify Jesus. But that doesn't matter, because you shouldn't kill anybody for the sins of their parents. I know. But anyways,
they picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, they picked the Son of God.
Yeah. Now I also, but if you're gonna aim, you got to aim high.
Can you imagine if they're going with Jesus and then somebody's like, "Hey, he's been made."
Guys, he's a made man.
He's a made man. He is the made man.
Let's kill the other. Let's get this other guy.
So for years and years, Jesus is not going well for them. And then after First World War I, there was a promise by the British government to the Jews to establish a home in Palestine.
Why did they pick Palestine?
Exactly. Why?
Was there other options that they could have chose?
There was Argentina, Madagascar, and Uganda. And as a matter of fact, the British government gave the Jewish people about 8,000 acres in Uganda in order to start a home, but it was difficult for the Jewish Council at the time, or the Zionist Council at the time, to bring people to go to Uganda or to Argentina. It's like, no, the only way that we can do it is to send them to Palestine, because it's the Holy Land, it's the Promised Land. So
did they choose Palestine, or the British people, or because this was after World War I? It was like Britain and America.
Yeah, in 1917, there's something called the Balfour Declaration, which is he was one of the British government who said, we can give you the state of Palestine as your homeland.
Okay.
But before 1917, there were many, Balfour Declaration.
The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support of the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority of Jewish population.
See, I like your fact checking everything, and it's coming great.
Well, this is good, because I always wonder some little things, and I know little things, but I don't know enough.
But before 1917, there was other trials, so with other options for the countries I told you. And you know what's the kicker? That's funny. Many Orthodox Jewish rabbis objected for Palestine to be the homeland, because in their Jewish faith, we cannot have a land for Israel until the Messiah, the real Messiah, because they don't believe in Jesus, their Messiah would come. So they were a huge opposition for having a land of Israel in Palestine.
In Palestine, because it was
because it was not religious. It was not the time yet. They should wait until the Messiah to come, and then that will create the land of Israel.
Oh, I see. So wherever the Messiah showed up, that would be the land of Israel.
But the secular Zionists at the time, they said okay, how about we build the land, and that will force him to come. So kind of build it and they will come. How about that? So you understand?
Like Field of Dreams kind of.
So because here's the thing, because many of the people who talk about Israel as being a biblical promise, even they were not having a consensus of where should we have. So whoever tells you, it's consensus, it's divine. No, they even had problems deciding. So anyways, and at that time, especially in 1930s, after Hitler came to power, there were like droves and droves and droves of Jewish Germans and Jewish Polish people and Jewish Russian. They were like having, they went into refugee boats and they came to Palestine. And you know why? Because they were not granted visas by the United States. They were not granted visas by other European countries.
Wow, so a lot of Jewish, like German Jews, Polish Jews, they weren't granted visas by
the West.
By the West, but they were by Palestine.
And Palestinians didn't have anything because it was a mandate by the British. They were occupying that land, but they were Palestinian people. So this became the myth of a land with no people to the people with no land. And if you actually find that, you will actually find that thing. This was one of the myths: a land with no people to the people with no land. So they will tell people, hey, there was no people living there, so it is ours. It is just a desert, but it was never a desert. There were like more than 1.2 million Palestinians living in that area, a piece of land.
Before the Balfour Declaration.
Before the Balfour Declaration. Then the Jewish people coming in, and then many of those Jewish European residents started to form militias and armed gangs. Like the Haganah, the Ergon, the Stein. And
now, were these Jewish people that had just been like rescued from from the Nazi Germany?
From Nazi Germany, yes.
Okay.
The 1930s all the way to the Second World War.
So they started to move to Palestine, which
Yes.
is now Palestine and Israel. What was it called at that point?
It was all called Palestine.
Even after Israel was given the land?
It was after giving the promise.
The promise.
Because if you read it, it was giving a promise to make the land in the land of Palestine.
I see.
So even many of those Israelis had Palestinian passports. So the land was called Palestine, and there were Palestinian people living there, 1.2 million at least. Fast forward, I'm not going to go into so many details. Fast forward, 1947, 48, there was like many wars happening, many attacks between the Palestinians and the Jews, because the Palestinians said, like, you're coming from Europe and you're taking our land. It's like, no, this is our biblical land now. Now it's ours. And those Jews were like supported pretty much by the British and the American. You think that's like, oh, we don't want them back, so take all the weapons and stay there. So and then there were a UN declaration, a partition. It's called a partition, 1947, and they gave the Jews who were less than 30% more than half of the land.
Okay,
and they gave the the Palestinians who were much more, like 49%.
And who was helping dictate that? Who was helping, not dictate it, but who was helping like facilitate it?
Well, after Second World War, after 1945, the British and the Americans were like kind of the world superpower.
Right.
So they were, at the time, I think
they were running the chessboard.
I think it was Truman. It was Truman in power who basically pushed. And there's like a video, black and white video for Truman describing, it's like, we were trying to please everybody, but it was difficult because we were putting them people into other people's land, and it's there in black and white.
Right.
So that why I'm giving this, because these ideas, see. Mm-hmm. Former President Henry Truman talks about generating power in the Middle East. It is just like, if you watch them, especially the one in front of the map.
Yeah, the one in front of the map.
The two on the front of the map, you know.
Roy Anderson was one of them. Yeah. We had several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses. You can't move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased. We had all sorts of.
So you see, I'm really talking about this because if you want to talk about October 7th, you need to talk about the basis, because they will always get like a point of time. The basis of this was a land of Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. People from Europe came in, and they started to import other Jews from the other parts of Arab countries, and they said, this is our land now for whatever biblical reason, because doesn't make any sense. This is like me coming into your podcast studio. So like, hey, my fortune cookie told me that this is mine now. and I'm allowed to kill you. I don't care about what your Bible or Torah or Quran tells you. If you have a holy scripture, good for you, but that doesn't dictate political decision that can affect the lives of other people in the region. So this is exactly what happened. And what drives me crazy is that we hear the whole idea about like the chosen people or the chosen people or the chosen people. Okay, fine. You think you're a chosen people, good for you. Everybody think they're chosen. Christians think they're chosen. Muslims think they're chosen. But what drives him crazy is the Christian Zionist, the pro-Israel Christian Zionists who say that they are chosen, that the Jews are chosen. And I'm sorry to say, isn't Jesus your guy? Are you in an open relationship?
He was.
Are you in an open relationship? Like, how come you believe in a religion, in a God and a doctrine, but you believe that other people from another religion are chosen over you? Don't you feel unchosen?
Right.
I mean, this is like a religious polygamy, right? Like, are you cheating on Jesus? Is this some sort of a religious FOMO? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sick and tired of this whole idea about chosen people. What does it mean to be chosen? Do you have a bottle service?
Yeah.
Do you have like a VIP lounge access? Are you like in a waterfront condos and we were like back in that purgatory in our shitty like
it's great advertising, right?
I know.
It's really great advertising if you just say you're the chosen people. How did that term come about, I wonder?
It was in their Bible, in their Torah, but it's fine because everybody thinks they're chosen.
Everybody wants to think
that
they're
is
chosen.
the driving force of faith,
right?
That I'm the only one on heaven and everybody's gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
But I don't understand if they're saying that they're chosen. Why the Christian Zionists believe that?
So what is a Zionist?
A Zionist, okay, there's a Zionist. They would want you to believe that a Zionist simply believe that having a national statehood for Jewish people. But that's more than that. Zionist is...
are Zionists Jewish or are they...
No, not necessarily, because you can be Zionist and still Christian, or a Zionist or an atheist. Because many of the pros, that's why I don't say Jews, I don't say, but I say pro-Zionist or pro-Israel. Because many of the people in Congress are Christians, and they just like believe in Zionism. And Zionism here, as we believe it from an Arab perspective, it is a colonial settling idea of ideology that is based on cleansing the whole group of people out of their land, and you coming into. If you want to have like a national state, that's fine, but you understand they are building it on the state of other people. You're coming in and you're doing it. And just to give you a very, very small snippet of the magnitude of what happened, 1948, 15th of May, the day that Israel declared independence. On that day, overnight, 750,000 Palestinians, 750,000 were displaced overnight. Overnight, displaced from their village, displaced from their homes, displaced from their cities. They were killing, raping, they were burning, all kind of things. And you have documentaries where Israeli soldiers, they braggingly talk about like the atrocities that they did and the rape and the women that they raped and all of that happened.
And was that...
Yeah, so this is a perfect example.
Okay,
you see, this is 1946 Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
This is all Palestine with a little like Jewish spots here and there. And this is the UN partition. Suddenly, the UN gave all of that white space to Israel. So the Palestinians are like, wait a minute, that doesn't work.
But how were they lobbying? Like the UN, is the UN the group that was doing it?
But you have to understand, like UN has no power.
Okay, got it.
Who has the power? America and England. You understand that UN now, or security, America runs the world.
Right.
So America is the superpower, especially after Second World War. They are the strongest country.
Strongest they've ever been.
They just like bomb, like to drop 2 nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
So
they had women playing baseball.
And you have even Henry Truman's like, we tried, but like we're trying to do it, but it's difficult.
But it's hard.
This is you see how it went from here to here in less than 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
How now the Palestinian state, quote unquote state,
started to get
have
very
become
small.
just like islands and islands and islands, and so you had 1.2 million. Now you see this little green thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have more than 5 million Palestinians living there. crushed into these little things. Gaza, together. Which is the little strip on the side, it has 2.2 million people. And those 2.2 million people were not born in Gaza. More than 3/4 of them came from outside, but they were pushing them. So we understand this is the state now. So the basis of all of this is occupation.
I see.
That's why when they tell you, does Israel has the right to defend itself? And people say an occupying force has no right to defend itself against the people that they occupy.
Say that again to me, Bassan.
So if you are an occupying force, you have no right to defend yourself. Because you cannot, it's like, does the Nazi Germany has a right to defend itself against the French resistance? You can't. You went into their country.
Right.
With might and with force and with military. You occupy them. You get them. And this is why, and I want to tell you, well, how come if you did October 7th, you should expect that, well, before October 7th, it's been going on and on. Every single day, a Palestinian will wake up in the morning and an Israeli soldier or Israeli settler can go into their house, burn their house, take their house, kill them, take them as hostages, put them in prison, say that they are terrorists. And a lot of people talk about the Israeli hostages. You understand, but before October 7th, there are 5,000 Palestinian hostages in prisons. 1 of every 5 Palestinian has been put in jail. You understand? So put that in perspective. America has 330 million people.
Yeah.
So imagine.
Some people are missing. How many people are missing?
300. So imagine out of those, about 65 million Americans is in jail right now. This is the reality of Palestinians. So at a certain point, if I'm talking to people who are listening to us now, you have a farm, you have a land, you have your cows, your herd, your family. Imagine for 75 years, your house has no privacy. Your family has no sanctity.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep knowing that you're going to wake up and your house will be yours in the morning.
You go in. People take them, being pushed out, they take their land. At a certain point, you have to break. Yeah. You have to snap.
So you're saying that what happened on October 7th is just a buildup of a long series of things. That's just a pinpoint.
And it's not new. I know a lot of people say, like, I'll give an example. 2014, exactly 10 years ago, in Gaza, 2,200 Palestinians were killed, dead. 500 children killed. Oh. There was no October 7th. You understand? There was no October 7th.
Right.
But they go in because and I gave this example to Chris Cuomo once. It's like, Israel is like, Palestine, Gaza and West Bank is like a small fishbowl. And you have the power to go into this fishbowl and you just like kick the shit out of those fish anytime you want. At a certain point, one fish will be crazy enough, suicidal enough to jump from the fishbowl and bite with your pinky. That's October 7th.
Yeah.
So you're going, I'm going to destroy. It's already destroyed.
Yeah, you're creating piranhas.
You understand that in just 8 months, Israel have bombed Gaza more than America has bombed Iraq for 8 years.
Wow.
In 8 months. You don't do that. You don't do that. And of course they tell you, it's collateral damage, which is crazy, right? It's like, those people that died, it's collateral damage. We really wanted to take that terrorist, but the school got in the way. I mean, the geography is very hostile. Every time we kill Hamas, they just like schools and babies come out of nowhere. It's like
I shouldn't be laughing at this.
I know. I mean, it's dark because sometimes I feel that Israel has some sort of a program called No Civilian Left Behind. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're a little kid playing soccer or a Hamas terrorist, you get a piece of the action. You understand?
Yeah, it's like favored nations. Kind of.
Because I, as an Arab, I have no power. I'm not powerful as the United States. I'm not powerful as Israel. So all I have to do is just like laugh at this,
right?
Because that doesn't work. So back to 1948, they displaced 750,000 people, and they continued to occupy the land every single day.
So you said that in 1948, what was that movement called? And that was just like in one day it kind of happened?
Yeah. That is the establishment of the State of Israel, 1948, 15th of May, 1948.
Okay, and so when Israel established itself, and is Israel able to establish itself by itself, or did they have to have like support from Britain and America? Or
Israel didn't establish itself over one day. I mean, they've been doing it. They're like having pushing people into it from other countries, and actually they had a lot of support from England and from America, and I find it very interesting how that Israelis made Americans think that terrorism is something that has been invented by Arabs or Muslim. Because if you talk to anybody, terrorism, Arabs, Muslim. You know that the first terrorist attack ever in the Middle East was carried out by Israel. 1946 in July, Israel bombed King David Hotel, killing 91 British soldiers. 91. That is the first. And it was led by a Stern gang, which is Itzhak Shamir, who was later became the Prime Minister of Israel. So they have been killing people, they have been terrorizing people all through, and then they call Palestinians terrorists.
And when that one day comes, the establishment of Israel as a country, is it like a certain, at that day, is there just like a mass where everybody has to move out of this space and this is ours
They
and this is
basically
yours?
move them into, if you get back the map, they move them into the West Bank and in Gaza.
Okay.
And then in that map that we've been, you see the third one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now all of the Palestinians are into this. 1967, we go to war with Israel. Egypt goes to war, get its ass kicked because we had Nasser messing up big time. And
in 1967, Egypt went to war.
Yeah, with and then Israel
with who? With Palestine?
With Israel.
With Israel.
And then after that, Israel could actually completely control the West Bank and in Gaza.
I see.
So now this is under. So what you could seeing all of these green marks is an occupation. And let me say it again: it's an occupation. It's a military force that is occupying people. And it is an occupation because of a land that has been disintegrated from this to this.
So you're saying that it wasn't the occupation, it was by force, it was never by like agreement.
Yeah, how can you agree to
Well, is there a lease? Like what does the lease say?
The what?
The lease.
The lease. There's no lease when you occupy. What did the lease say in France when Nazi came in and took over your land? You have nothing to say. You have people coming in with their.
Most Jewish people I know are landlords. So it's like I can't imagine they would do this without a lease.
Well, if you have an army next to you, why would you need a lease? Because
I see what you're saying.
Because till today, like you have go into the internet and find just like Israeli settlers. Terrorizing Palestinian farmers, just random thing. You have like 100 videos. Happens every single day. So, and this is why I'm talking, because everybody is focused on this little strip, on the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
But people don't know what is happening in those green scattered. This is happening every single day. Every single day, people. By the way, the hostages are not 5,000 people anymore. After October 7th, it's now 12,000 people. 12,000 Palestinians in prisons. Wow. In prisons. So when you talk about hostage, and I just want to get people back October 7th, when Hamas did this, and I'm not defending Hamas. I'm not into any kind of support of any group. But they said, we will release the hostage if you release our hostages. Because you have been going into our houses and taking people. Half of the 5,000 people that I told you about, half of them are women and children. Half of them. So, and then and I'll just give you an example because I know what will people tell you. Oh, but these are terrorists. I'll give you an example of a terrorist. Suad Zuraiqat, she is a Palestinian mother.
So you have to say it slower.
Suad Zuraiqat.
Suad Zuraiqat.
She's a Palestinian mother. Her husband was killed. And then she wrote on Facebook, "May God unite us in heaven." The Israeli authority considered that as an incitement for terrorism, and they took her and they put her in detention for 8 months.
Wow.
That's the kind of people that they will take you for terrorism. All right? And I'm not saying that there's violence, but put yourself in their place. Your house is being taken, your farms are being burned, your cattle is being killed, your kids are being taken in front of you, your woman, your husband, your wife may be even raped and taken away and sexually molested.
Yeah.
How long can you keep going? Because but we want peace. This is not a peace. This is subjugation.
So you're saying that over time, it's like a slow devouring of the Palestinian people is kind of what's happened.
Yeah. It is devouring. It's as you said, they devour the land. Mm-hmm. They devour their lives. They are dehumanization. And when you fight back, you're called a terrorist. Now let's go back to October 7th because this is very important.
Okay.
October 7th, Hamas, which is a militant group that is living in Gaza, that has won the election in 2006, but they were never allowed to take power because Israel started bombing them.
Okay, so Hamas was actually an elected group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And when they ran for election, what were they? Were they like?
They were running as a group. I mean, Hamas is a. They don't like the Palestinian Authority that was already there.
They didn't like them.
They didn't like it.
Okay.
So and Israel Netanyahu was so happy with that, and they started to give money to Hamas in order to bolster them and make them stronger. And he said in the Likud party, in his party, he said the only way to prevent a Palestinian state is to make the Palestinian factions fighting the whole time. He said that. So he created a monster.
So he saw that. So you're saying that Netanyahu, who is the president of Israel, or the prime minister, he saw that, okay, there's this alternative group, Hamas, who is causing conflict with the people who are in charge in Palestine. And so I'm going to fund Hamas.
Yes. And Hamas was, I wouldn't say that they were moderate. They would say like, we want to eradicate Israel, whatever. And then they kind of revised their charter, but they weren't fans of each other. And
did Israel definitely fund them?
You have Netanyahu on tape actually confessing, facilitating their support many times, and you can look it up if you want. Like, it's like what I'm trying to say is they won the election to 2006, and Israel didn't like it, and then they started bombing, and then Israel.
Who won? Hamas.
Hamas won by 51%.
Okay.
In Gaza. But then they were like infighting and it didn't work, and then Israel kind of like created even a bigger embargo, and then for the past like 20 years they've just like every time Hamas like retaliates, Israel retaliates, and they retaliate and they retaliate. But who has the power? Who has the military might? It's Israel. At the end of the day, it's militants.
Oh yeah, Israel is a superpower.
Yeah, so you cannot just like cry, we're gonna perish because of a militant group. If we're giving you that money, that doesn't work this way. But here's what I want to talk about, which is the most important thing about October 7th, which I find there is like a big failure of the American media. When October 7th happened, everybody was talking about raping women, decapitating children, putting women in oven. Even Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, he went into Congress and he described this scene about Hamas militants going into a house, raping the woman, blinding the father, cutting the limb of a child, cutting a finger of another child, and then cutting the chest, the breast of a woman, and playing football with it and raping it. And I said, wait a minute. How is this happening during war? Where are the Israeli Apache fighters? Where are the response? Because I understand how big is Israel. Israel is like as small as New Jersey. And in that area of New Jersey, there is you see it. It's almost there.
It's the same.
Yeah, almost there. Yes, a little bit. And you understand. Israel has airfields and military camps in every 5 seconds. It's like Starbucks in New York.
Yeah.
The response should be less than 5 minutes. Yeah. It took them 8 hours.
Yeah, I need a Venti missile.
Now, that testimony that I just gave you by Antony Blinken came out to be wrong.
Who's Antony Blinken?
Antony Blinken is the Secretary of State.
For Israel?
No, for America.
For America, okay.
So he went and gave that graphic detail in order to bring money, to get money to be sent to Israel. These testimonies came out to be untrue, false, fabricated, because they were promoted by rescue groups in Israel. They're called Zaka and Hezbollah United. Zaka, Z-A-K-A. Zaka is a group that has been known to be lying. They fabricated babies in oven, babies in laundry lines.
Yeah, they keep putting the babies everywhere. No matter what side you're on, it's like, the babies are here.
And yeah, that's the website. And if you search for them, you will find that their lies has been debunked many times by the Israeli media themselves. Israeli media artists, Channel 12, they said that these people have lied to us and they have collected so much money because of the graphic details. And you understand, these are lies that has been repeated by Biden, Antony Blinken, the State Department, in order to justify the absolute maximum killing of Israel to Palestine. So this was made on a lie.
So it's propaganda, yeah.
It's propaganda. Because, I'm not going to tell you they killed 1 million people. They raped women. They decapitated babies. That have a much more stronger effect, because what a baby could do to you.
Baby could do nothing. And then climb up your leg a little.
You decapitate him, You must be a monster. So now these are monster death cult worshippers that we can kill and we can bomb everybody. You see that?
So it's a perspective. You're like framing it.
And
so you're saying, but who's doing that? The Israeli media?
Yeah, the Israeli media. Because all of the, and not just the Israeli, the American media have propagated these stories and they have never taken back or refuted a single story.
Oh, American media is
even
not good.
And and what would be, what made me like go crazy? The Israeli made us like, guys, this didn't happen. So this is like the strongest bro code I've ever seen in my life. It's like you're lying for your bro, and your bro's like, dude, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So America is lying hard for Israel. While Israel itself, the Israeli media say like, guys, that didn't happen. Yeah. All of these lies didn't happen. The New York Times article screams without words was debunked to be lies. There was so many people, lies. No decapitated babies were found. Only one baby was killed. Her name is Mila Cohen. She's 10 months old and she was died during an exchange. No decapitated babies. No rape women. Sheryl Sandberg and New York Times have spread all of these lies and they were debunked many, many times. And still the American media are running with the lies.
But a lot of American media is...
If you say that would be anti-Semitic. So I'm not going to go there. Right?
Oh, is that anti-Semitic?
They're telling me everything that I say now is anti-Semitic.
I didn't know that.
But I'm saying that even the Jewish people in Israel telling you these are lies.
Well, my Jewish friends who, they say that the media is mostly run by Jewish folks. I don't think that's...
It is.
They told me that.
It is. All of the corporates, all of the CEOs are, but that's a different, but I don't want to go into their intention. I'm just giving you a case that
Look, didn't have... We can't say that though?
Well, according to a bill that was passed by the Congress 2 months ago, there's now an anti-Semitic bill that any criticism to Israel will be counted as anti-Semitic. Any criticism to Jewish people who might have a dual loyalty to Israel and America, if you attack them, that will be called anti-Semitic. If you talk about AIPAC controlling the elections and giving money, that's anti-Semitic. And it's like, wait a minute, that's against the First Amendment of the United States. Because I have grown up seeing people shitting on everything, on the American president, on religion, on Jesus Christ,
gays, whites, blacks,
Jesus, whites, Muslims.
Jesus,
but
Santa.
But suddenly when you talk about Israel, which is a foreign country that we give aid, you can't speak. You can't talk about you're labeled anti-Semitic. Why?
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, some of it's like, well, we had. Roseanne Barr on, she's Jewish. She said something, she made a joke and our episode got taken down, but it was obviously like a joke, so some of it's just confusing because here's the thing, I don't understand, like, just say if you can't say, if we're not allowed to say something, at least tell us what it is.
No, we're not. They always keep you in this kind of fear of saying something wrong. And they have all of you're anti-Semitic, It's like, guys, like, you have to stop this anti-Semitic because...
Well, it becomes this boy that cried wolf kind of thing where it's like you accuse everybody of anti-Semitic. It's like, dude, I have so many Jewish friends, you think I'd be... I don't like Netanyahu. I don't like some of the choices that I feel like that country makes, but I don't... I don't have anything against my Jewish friends, though.
That's why I'm very careful when I talk. I never say Jewish people. I say pro-Zionist, Zionist, Israel, pro-Israel.
Oh, shit,
I never talk.
Jewish people a few minutes
No. I don't say about Israel because I know that a lot of Jewish people don't like what Israel is doing. I know a lot of Jewish people don't like how they control the Congress. I don't like how a lot of Jewish people that don't like how AIPAC, which is a foreign lobby and yet is allowed to operate under American local law, that they can openly brag about buying Congress seats. If you go into AIPAC a Twitter account or X account, they would brag about like how 98% of our candidates...
Do not accept all cookies if you go over there.
Yeah. Like go to their... not network, AIPAC. Just, AIPAC.
It's AIPA.
AI. Yes.
And AIPAC...
No, not tracker. Yeah, AIPAC. Yeah, that's one. Yes.
And what is AIPAC?
American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
Yeah, public affairs. Yeah, public affairs. So go down and see what they talk about the elections. When they talk about the elections, they always talk about, like, they end it with... another great... being pro-Israel is good policy and good politics. They end that with every 100% of AIPAC endorsed Democrats won their primary rate. 150. Is like a foreign country, and a lobby that's worked for a foreign country brags about buying your elections like that.
It is.
You see, being pro-Israel is good policy. They end every single tweet is like that. They are basically looking to you in the eyes and say, like, we're buying your elections and you can't do anything about it. So I can accept that from NRA because the NRA is a domestic group, right? At least it represents the interest of American gun owners. Oh, this is a very
I just saw this guy
Mr.
recently.
Massey, who said like each one in Capitol Hill has an APAC handler. It's like, I need to talk to my guy.
Everybody but me has an APAC person.
What does that mean, an APAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your APAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for APAC.
It's just kind of like having an agent or whatever.
Yeah, but like a handler. Go ahead, continue. And I don't understand why every American politician have to go there and bend the knees.
You go have lunch with them, and they've got your cell number, and you have conversations with them.
Well, I think part of
I'll
this.
talk to my APAC person, and it's literally what we call them, my APAC guy. I'll talk to my APAC guy and see if I can get him to, dial those ads back. Group of Americans who lobby on behalf of Israel. They're for anything.
But I think also it's like you have to look at it as like we live in a country that is a capitalism, right?
Absolutely.
And they are like Israel just does they're the best business people, They're like it's almost like monopoly and they won.
Okay.
That's what I feel like sometimes
yeah, they won and good for them. They're very good, but like how does an American feels?
Right, but you can't hold it against them because they are good at this. You can't hold it against them because they won, right?
So you cannot hold it against Israel, but you hold it against Russia if they try, or China if they try. So why do we accept it from Israel, but not from
Except
Russia?
what?
Accept them controlling the elections. You understand? So you have an APAC, which is a lobby, basic lobbying for another country. This is in the news and you can look it up. They paid $100 million in order to buy seats for Congress people and Senate. And because of the people they were able to put there, they were able to approve $26 billion to Israel. So understand, as an American, your politicians are being bought for $100 million. And because of that, your country will send 26 billion to a different country. Yeah. 26 billion that could have been spent in my own country, in my own community. This is the best return of investment ever. You pay 100 million and I take back 26 billion from you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is why when I talk about what's happening, I'm not even, you see, like, you've missed that. The what you just had, APAC targets progressive with $100 million in its coffers.
Yeah.
So basically anybody who talks against you in Congress, you pay them out, and then you take more money. Don't we as Americans deserve the $26 billion to be put 100%. In our communities?
Oh, I think it's like
this is we give them money, but they control us.
Yeah.
This is like
it's fucking they're good at the business, dude.
This is like a sugar daddy who's being slapped around like a bitch from his sugar baby. This is like there's like basically picking up like a whore in the strip mall in the strip in Las Vegas, and then suddenly she's in charge of your life. Yeah. This is like having a dominatrix, and so it's like I'm gonna kick your balls and you're gonna like it, and you're gonna pay me $26 billion for it. It's like that doesn't work because I come from the Middle East and I'm used to dictatorship. I am used for us having no voice. I'm used to a certain class of people controlling the country. But even then, we knew that these people were not in control because they had to answer for China or Russia or America or France, right?
Yeah.
Because we're a dictatorship. This is how dictatorship works. A democracy-loving country like America or Britain go control a certain country, and it's easier for them to deal with a dictator. So we knew that they were not calling the shots. It was called from Washington. I'm fine with that because I'm a third world country. We're from the Middle East. We have to follow the masters of this planet. Now, I came to America and I became an American. I thought I was joining. I'm joining the winning team.
Yeah.
I will have a say in my country, and then suddenly my country, the most powerful country in the world, the superpower in the world, has its policies being dictated from Tel Aviv. How does it work? You see, and it's fine. And I ask Americans, guys, are you used to this? Is this kind of humiliation? You're supposed to be like the from a country for the people, by the people, and then suddenly your elections and being dictated by a different country. How does it work?
But to me, the thing is just like making it. Is it true or not? It's like, just tell me what's happening.
I just told you.
Right.
So whatever I just told you that like a foreign lobby from a foreign country is controlling your politics right in front of you. And then you have, and by the way, I understand how lobby works but remember when Democrats was giving shit to Republicans because they're having so much money from NRA? Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're taking money from the gun lobby. How dare you? And then the Republicans were attacked there. You're taking money from tech. Israel is the only country that gives both sides and nobody questions. So basically, it's not caring about the education will not get you elected. Caring about healthcare will not get you elected. Caring about the well-being of your American constituents will not get you elected. It is caring about what's good for Israel. So yes, guys, our neighborhood is shit. We have no sewage, no education, but God bless Israel. It doesn't. You're basically having a lot of people elected for your Congress. Yeah. To look for a different country, look out for a different country.
To me, it does seem very bizarre. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, like when it hits my heart over the past, like especially 8 months, it's been, it makes me feel like there has to be a way better way to figure things out.
It's all about like fear mongering. They will tell you, but Israel is alone. It is surrounded by enemies that want to wipe us.
Is that true or not? Is Israel surrounded by enemies or not?
Bring the map of the Middle East.
Because one of the reasons I'm sure America and Israel have work together is because they need each other, right?
Okay, so Egypt is surrounded by Egypt. Egypt is the biggest military force in the Middle East. That's my country.
Okay.
And they having like a 45 years lasting peace treaty. There has never been a single missile or bullet shot from Israel, from Palestine, from Egypt to Israel, all over that.
So Egypt and Israel have a good...
Yeah, Jordan is the other country, peace. UAE, peace. Do you have the big threat for Israel is the little militant group in the Gaza Strip, which is Hamas, and Hezbollah, which is south of Lebanon. If you have all of that military might,
Hezbollah and
it's up there, like you see the gray area, like in Lebanon.
Is that where he lives at?
So basically, you have like two militant groups who doesn't like you. Right, supported by Iran, which is far away from you, and you have all of these Arab countries around you, basically friends with you. Yeah. So all of they want to kill us all. We're gonna perish. Oh fuck you! All of this. You see, Saudi Arabia, they have like almost normalized relationship. UAE, one of the countries.
So you don't believe that? You believe that they have? It's pretty stable over there.
It is a way to push in war and make you, because if you're not threatened, how can you sell the war?
Yeah.
And if you talk about October 7th, see what they want to be. You believe that before October 7th there were peace. Actually, before October 7th, 2 weeks before October 7th, Israel bombed Gaza 3 times. Before October 7th, Israel already killed 75 children in the West Bank in the same year. All of these numbers were happening. All of this ongoing. There was no peace before October 7th. And you go in and you go on with these lies that has never been refuted by the American media, although it was found to be lies and lies and lies. And you do that because you want to tell people we're dealing with terrorists. All of the Arab countries hate us and we have to kill us. And then they will bring in the Holocaust. I'm very sorry for the Holocaust, guys, but we had nothing to do with your Holocaust. We were just like minding our fucking business.
I was dead or whatever. I wasn't dead. I wasn't alive.
We were in the Middle East. We were just there. And the Holocaust happened to you in Europe. It didn't happen to you because of us. And then you import people from a different continent because you didn't want them. You didn't give them visa. You didn't take them as refugees. And then
America and Britain, you mean?
Yeah. And then you put them on our land, and then you take our land, and then you tell everybody, oh, there was no one there.
So has America showed up, or Britain showed up and tried to help facilitate communications to make things better there?
There were many tries for peace treaties. But Obama said it best. In his book, he said, the problem with Israel and Palestine is that one of them is very strong and one side is very weak.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that compels me to give you land. So they will tell you, oh, we gave 5 chances to the Palestinians. And they said, no, that is not true. When I have the whole land and suddenly you're going to give me 49%, that is not a deal. That's like, if you don't like it, we're gonna take it from you. If you give me like a shitty deal and I don't accept it because that is my land, you just gonna say like, oh, they didn't accept it.
Right. So, but have there been deals offered one way or the other, like peace? Like,
yeah. Like there's something called the Oslo Accords. It's happened in 1995.
The Oslo Accords?
The Oslo Accords. And you have Netanyahu bragging on tape saying that I have personally sabotaged the Oslo Accords, so it means nothing.
Okay, the Oslo Accords are a pair of interim agreements between Israel and Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, signed in Washington, D.C. in 1993, signed in Egypt in 1995. They mark the start of the Oslo process, a peace process aimed at achieving a peace treaty based on resolutions of the United Nations Security Council. Among the notable outcomes, Oslo Accords were the creation of the Palestinian National Authority, which was tasked with the responsibility of conducting limited Palestinian governance over parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. So this was helping Palestine create a government?
Yes, but then it was all over the way. It's now clear the Oslo Peace Accords were wrecked by Netanyahu. And that was written by Avi Shleim, who's an Israeli author.
Right. Because there's people in Israel that don't agree with Netanyahu, right?
Yes, I know. But honestly, I'm sick and tired of saying, oh, Netanyahu is bad, but the rest of Israel, no. 98% of Israeli community said that we're not doing enough in Gaza. Only 2% says it's too much. 70% of Israelis said that we should not send humanitarian aid to Gaza. A lot of people, and I don't blame, I mean, I blame them, but like when you tell your people that those are like evils and they're like vampires and they're like killers, of course you're going to hate them. Of course you don't want them to live.
Yeah.
But you cannot expect to treat people like animals, and when they behave like animals, retaliate like animals, you go on and complain.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you, is there a way... Because, man, it's just there's so much damage done there.
Yeah.
How do you find, how is there some sort of a solution? Like what direction do you see?
The solution is fixing the occupation. There is an occupation. That is the
and
thing.
why doesn't America and Britain step in and say, look, we helped create this in the beginning. We want to be here to help us establish safety for these people now.
Okay, America. What is America made of? Government. What is the government is made of? Elected officials. These people are elected through what? Through elections. Who's controlling the elections and paying for certain people to be there? AIPAC.
But do we know? But doesn't every country have lobbyists that try to like influence our elections?
Not a foreign lobby like this. Yeah, there's lobbies everywhere. But when you have a foreign lobby that works for an external country, that is not normal to you.
But is that considered just like a you know how we have like little base or little what are the places called if you're in London? The embassy. Like we have embassies in different places.
Yes.
Isn't that just like them having like a human embassy or something? Like a
no.
You know what I'm talking about? Kind of.
I understand, but like that doesn't work with lobbies with parliaments, and this is like imagine a lobby that is openly funded by China, and that lobby going there and buying seats for people who are pro-China.
It seemed like unfair.
It should not be accepted in a democratic country.
Why do we allow that to happen? It would seem like, well, but then you know what? That's where it comes down to capitalism, because it's the same shit that we allow where, just like where that drug company came in and hired former people from the FDA to come and work for their drug company.
That's wrong. That's illegal.
Right.
And also the government. I mean, capitalism wants you to believe that there's nothing you can do. It's only the free market. Even the free market has some sort of a government control. If a company goes out and become a monopoly, you have antitrust laws, and the government can curb that company.
Yeah.
But the problem is the government that should curb the influence of a foreign lobby is being paid by the same foreign lobby. So who would come up and put like a questioning for Israel lobby? The people they just paid get into Congress. I paid you.
Yeah.
I own your ass. You're not going to go into Congress and then ask why are we following. So
Israel's a gangster. Dog.
Exactly. This is what really made me disenfranchised. I became an American citizen in 2019, and I was so right in time for the 2020 elections. I was so happy. I'm going to be elected. It took me now 4 years. I'm not going to vote in the coming elections. So what's the point? It's like, what about America, man? What America? It's like, so now why would I even care to vote for anybody while both of them are competing to be Israel's favorite bitch?
Yeah.
It's basically like this. It's like, oh, I'm the best one for Israel. How about being the best one for America? How about doing what's good for America? Is it good for America to pay $26 billion? If I'm seeing this, how do I feel as an American?
Well, I think it's, for one, I think a lot of people don't know what to think. A lot of people aren't super clear on maybe what's going on,
Because they're not allowed to, because they are being, all they need to know is like to see the headlines of the news. And the headlines of the news is always something bad about Palestinians or something bad about, nothing is bad. They don't spend enough time because they want their ESPNs and they need their Netflix. They don't want to involve in That's why a lot of Americans are still believing in the raping and the decapitated babies, because you can't stay tuned into the news for long. So for them, they do the shock, the lies, and then when people say, wait, that didn't happen. It's like, it's too late now, because people are they're tuned out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do not even believe the news at all anymore, though. I think the news has super lost a ton of credibility over the years.
So what happens? You create a kind of apathy. So people don't care, and business go as usual. The Congress getting bought, people getting bribed, $26 billion getting sent to Israel. People continue having bombing, and then every now and then, why is this happening? Because you checked out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then you ask, what can we do? Nothing, because they made you check out a long time ago. So you have all of these people looking at what the government's doing, looking at what the world is doing. It's like, that ain't right, but there's nothing I can do about it. And this is exactly how you run the world. In my country, in the Middle East, I do that because you cannot speak up because you're going to be put in jail. But here, you can speak up, but nothing will happen. Nothing will change.
Here, I think sometimes you get afraid to even ask questions about stuff, and it's like, well, this doesn't even make any sense. Like, just at least let things make sense to me. For me, not be able to ask questions and shit is just fucking. That's the thing that's really, really weird.
Because it's all about like the attacking. So if you to go and you repeat what I just told you, it's like, Bassem, he's a liar. He's an anti-Semite. He hates Jews. Okay, what did he lie about? They will never give you details. What did he lie about? I'll give you an example. On the second Piers Morgan interview, I went up to him and I gave him a story. I told him that Israel used to give contraceptive pills to the Ethiopian Jewish women who were immigrated from Ethiopia, and for more than 15 years, Israel would give them contraceptive shots without them knowing, so they would sterilize them. They would not allow them to breed because they are black.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I noticed, dude? I was in Atlanta at the Coca-Cola factory or whatever, and you can taste all the sodas from around the world.
Look,
Ethiopian women in Israel giving contraceptive without consent, huh?
Yeah. So
Israel's lead.
So when Benjamin Netanyahu was in the government and he came out and he personally apologized, right? So this is cut and dry. You cannot. And you know what happened? The Israelis on the X. Oh, he's a liar. That never happens. It's here. So I'm just preparing you that every time you're going to tell them something, they will tell you, "Oh, it's a lie. It's a lie. Nobody said that. Nobody said that."
Well, a lot of that's just people will position themselves constantly. It's like people are, especially if people are up to no good, nobody wants to get caught.
Yes.
A lot of times.
It's like you saying something and somebody, you're a racist. It's like, wait, what did I just said that was racist? Oh, no, you're racist. You're making me uncomfortable. You see that the way that they attack you?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, attack what I said.
Yeah. If I'm racist, dude, I do it at home, behind closed doors.
But this is, you're anti-Semitic, you're racist, you're a homophobe. The way that they use, like the same way, you're Islamophobe. I don't like this word, Islamophobe.
I don't know if anybody cares about that shit anymore, though.
Nobody cares.
Well, people have thrown around some of those terms so many times. It's like the boy that cried wolf kind of in a way. It's like you can't make it feel like I can't ask something or talk about something. Yeah, it just sometimes some of that stuff is strange. And it's hard. I mean, some of this stuff is even hard to talk about because it's like I worry that even just by having like some of this conversation, it's like it's kind of scary because I don't know what I could get in trouble for.
But this is scary, man, because like I'm new to this country, so like I'm kind of like following your lead, guys, and I'm saying like, wait, isn't this country created on the cornerstone of freedom of expression? Why is there some things that we are not allowed to speak about or afraid. This is the promise of the West. Come here and speak and say whatever you want, no matter how offensive it is. It doesn't matter because it is words. But then suddenly you come here and you find all of these red lines. Yeah. And I was made fun of, like when I came, you came from the Middle East, you have all of these red lines. You cannot speak about that. We can speak about Jesus. We can speak about the American president. You can speak. And now I come here and I see the red line. You have one red line.
Really?
And you have one red line. Everybody here, not you. Then that red line, everybody can see. You guys cannot be able to talk about, which is Israel. This is your red line. Your red line is not even in your country.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That's a crazy statement.
It's a crazy.
Dude, I'll tell you what I heard, dude. I heard that Jesus did like a lot of impersonations and stuff.
What did he impersonate? His dad?
Just his friends and stuff. Yeah. But I heard that somewhere. I don't know where I read that, but he would do like impersonations, I guess, or whatever.
What, he would be like the Archangel Michael. It's like, hey, so Archangel Michael is like, hey, Jesus, hey, Jesus. But he's
so
like,
an archangel walks into a cloud.
I know, but okay, I'll tell you something about like things that people find offensive. For example, we were basically profiled as Muslims that we hate.
Slims, we call them.
Yeah, Slims.
Yeah.
I
made that up a couple years ago. It's like
Slim.
I don't want to say it's a racial slur, but if it is, you're welcome.
Slims? It's like the Slims, the cigarettes?
It's kind of like whenever we
is
say
it because
Muslims,
like we smoke hookahs?
We say Slims. I think I really like it. Some people might not like it, and that's okay. And
one thing that kind of like drives me crazy sometimes, like, we like Israel, but we don't like Muslims. Like, why? And then Paul is like, because Judeo-Christian values. Have you heard about that? Judeo-Christian values. So guys, what do you talk about Judeo-Christian values? You understand that people in Israel hate Christians. You understand that? You go
that's
right now.
That's not true, you think?
You go right now in the video and you write Israelis spitting on Christians in Bethlehem, or spitting on Israel on Christians in Israel. You see, spitting, hitting attacks on Israel and surging in Israel. Occupied Jerusalem, ultra-Jewish, spitting on Christians.
But this could be specific stuff.
No, this is part. Okay, so
you know what I'm saying. This might not be an everyday thing because I have a lot of friends that are Jewish, and
there's like so many videos. It's just like the videos keep scrolling as we say. That's not everything. You see how many videos right now we're talking. The videos keep scrolling. So that's not everything, but we happen to have 100 videos to say that that's true.
It says there's only 2,000 videos.
Okay. Okay, and you have actually one of their ministers, Ben Gavir, who is the basic national security, as I said, it is actually part of our religion. There's no hate about that, and many of their rabbis would say that Jesus right now, Jesus is the son of a whore. The Virgin Mary is a whore. She made up the whole thing about the Son of God in order to cover for her adultery. And Jesus right now is being burned with feces and semen for eternity. This is what they say. So basically, I don't know if you follow this trend. No, yeah, you can find it.
And this
out.
is a trend on TikTok?
No, not a trend. These videos are already there. So basically, when Christians go there, the Orthodox Jews will go Haktua. They go Haktua. They spit on that thing.
Damn, right. Wow.
So, and I'm not saying that this represents all Jews.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you want nitpick about this stuff, because I grew up as a Muslim, and all of those videos nitpicking of like, oh, look at this extreme Muslim who said that. Oh, this must be all Muslim are terrorists. And you have a lot of those videos on us and nobody's talking about it. So you understand like how this is personal for me?
Yeah.
And I'm fine talking about those horrible people in the Muslim community, but talk about everybody.
Right.
Don't limit our speech. And by the way, and I hate the word Islamophobe. Anybody is allowed to talk about Islam or the Quran or whatever. I will never call you an Islamophobe. But I'm an equal opportunity offender. If you talk about my religion, let's talk about everybody's religion.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to talk about my politics, let's talk about everybody's politics.
Yeah.
I'm not here to attack Jewish people. I'm not here to attack Israel. I am just asking for my right as an American to be able to speak about everything without having fear of being canceled or having my career canceled. I had opportunities. My opportunities in Hollywood dried up completely after I talked.
Is that true?
Yes.
Do you think it's tougher for Arabic and Islamic entertainers in Hollywood?
Oh, it is tougher, but there's also people who are not Muslims, who are not Arabs, who were had cancelled because of their opinions. There have been blacklists of people in tech companies that have been removed from their companies because of a post of Facebook, and this is happening in America. And of course, you remember what happened in these colleges where like American students were being beaten by American police for the sake of a foreign country. You understand, like the American university movement, which one of the most amazing movements, that they went out against Vietnam, they went out against South Africa, and now they went out against Israel, and they're being hit and penalized in their own campuses for just speaking up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they should be able to do that at campuses, but then what happens is investors or donators to the campuses who believe what they believe, they choose to take their money away. You know,
and those donors are pro what?
They're pro money.
So if you write, please, Jewish billionaires threaten Columbia universities to withdraw their loan.
I'm never going to fucking work again.
Dude, I came here having receipts.
I know, but I'm going to get in trouble,
pro-Israel
dude.
Jewish billionaires look, there it is. Billionaires stop Columbia cash over anti-Israel protests. Columbia billionaires doors are giving a. So you see, what does it?
But
so
still,
your donors, the donors have more loyalty to a foreign country and telling you, if you speak against that foreign country, I'm not giving you my money.
But it makes sense though that that makes sense if you think that you say you're like I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. If somebody puts up a Falcons flag, an Atlanta Falcons flag, and I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, and it's my bar or something, or I'm the one that helps take care of the place where they're putting the flag up, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to help take care of this place anymore if you support this.
But the Falcon and Minnesota, these are two people in the league, in an American league. But you are basically talking about a different... I'm not even attacking your team.
I made a bad choice.
I am saying that I don't want my college to take part from understand why they went. They said, like, we need to divest from any investment with the Israeli army. Is that fair or not? That's fair. Like, I don't want my universities, the universities that I pay tuition to be involved with the military or the Israel. That's fair. And then you have Bunor. No, we need to be involved in other people's shit, and you need not to speak about that. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Well, why don't why don't different groups start to build their own strongholds of like university and like media so that everybody can have their own channels?
Most Arabs work in vaping. I don't know that there's much money in the Arab community.
Hey, smoke signals.
We just said that like Jewish people are very good in business. We can't compete with that. We just have hookahs and vapes. We can't compete with them. So, but like, you see, if that is the case, don't call it a democracy anymore. If the whole idea about like who pays the more money, it's an oligarchy.
Yeah,
don't call yourself democratic. Just say, hey, it's a capitalist country. Whoever has more money, but that's dangerous because tomorrow China might have more money here and control it. So it has to be a fair game for everybody. But it's not fair because now they say TikTok, we need to ban TikTok because it's against Israel because it's pro-China. So you're not even making the game fair. If Israel can buy its way through it, anybody should buy the way through it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, well, then if that's the case, then China should be able to do it too.
And Saudi Arabia is able to do it, and Iran is able to do it.
Israel's an ally. I guess why
is Israel an ally?
I don't know why.
And which ally have you given $26 billion?
I don't know, dude.
You see, but here's the thing: we're repeating that. Oh, Israel is our greatest ally. Why?
I don't know, but you have to have. Well, here's why. I believe this is what I've always been kind of like, I guess, heard, is that you have to have an ally in the Middle East because there's so much oil and power and money over there.
America doesn't have allies in the. What about Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil producing company in the world? Iraq, Egypt, UAE, all of Kuwait. All of these are allies for the United States.
I don't know if Saudi Arabia is an ally. I don't know about
that. Saudi Arabia is the most beneficial for your economy. They are the biggest buyer of your weapons.
Except for those 2 buildings in New York City, dude. Outside of that, though, you know what I'm saying?
Well, so why didn't you go after them?
because I guess somebody owed somebody some money or something.
No, let's talk about 9/11 now because it's a bigger issue. We're going to go really down the rabbit hole. But here's the thing. You have all of those people, they're allies. What has Israel done to you being an ally? It has ruined your reputation in front of everybody. Hates America because of Israel.
I don't know if that's true. You think so?
Yeah. Everybody hates America because of Israel. I'm telling you. It's and that's why they hate America because what Israel is doing in Palestine, and how America is supporting Israel forever. And if you find America supporting the killing of my own people, you can't help but people hate you, right? At a certain point, I don't think that Israel is a good ally for us. They are costing us a lot of money. They are harboring a lot of terrorists. The Jewish Defense League, there are 3 people from the Jewish Defense League in 1994 who killed an American citizen and they escaped to Israel, and Israel is not delivering you. Is that a work of an ally? Israel hit the USS Liberty in 1967. It's an American vessel. Does that an American? No. As there's a book called By Way of Deception by Viktor Ostrofinsky, who is an ex-Mossad officer who said that Israel knew about the 1982 Lebanon bombing where 52 Americans were killed, and Mossad held the information. So because they want to do it in spite. Is that the work of an ally? Israel has it harbors the biggest number of pedophiles in Israel. More than 50 people, at least from 2014, by the Jewish Watch community. This is actually a Jewish group who have actually said that. So you have people who are molesting American children in America, and they're escaping to Israel using the dual nationality thing, and Israel is not giving you back. Wow. Is that the work of an ally? If
somebody's a molester, you got to send them back.
It's on CBS News if you want to look at. Like CBS News, you can. You
don't like Israel, I think.
I don't like Israel. No, I do not like it. I think their ways are evil, and you see how Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. That's CBS. I'm not making this up.
A lot of them too would hide by the would hide.
So is this
Winn-Dixie in our
is
area.
this a work of an ally? Is an ally giving you $100 million to bribe your politicians, buy your elections, and then make you pay $26 billion? That's not a work of an ally. If someone takes $70 million of tax exempt money for their veterans, that's not a work of an ally.
But how many issues did America create for itself just with its own practices of like doing this, like doing those sorts of things to other countries and stuff? I wonder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if there's a part of, if that's true. I don't know. I
mean, America has known to finance and carry out coups in all kind of different countries. In Latin America, they're known to overthrowing a government if they don't like. For example, it happened in Chile. It happened in Argentina. It happens in so many places. It happened in Iraq in 1954. There was like an elected official that they thrown out because of oil agreements. America is known to manipulate the whole world. That's what superpowers do.
Right. So if
the Romans did it, the Greeks came. I accept that because you're the police of the planet. Yes, it happened. It comes with a cost. It's terrible.
But couldn't that evolve and then Israel could just become that?
What do you mean?
Like if we were the leader at one time, couldn't Israel be the leader at one time?
Why?
Couldn't China be the leader at one time?
Well, China I can accept because it's a superpower. But Israel is a client state. It's a small state. This is like basically you living, you working in a corporate, and the CEO coming every day and shitting on your office. It's like, what? He's the CEO, he's the owner. But then he brings his little poodle, and then he shits on your desk. That's too much. That's Israel. Right? I can accept it because you are the superpower of the world, but don't bring your brat dog to do it on my desk. That's too much. Yeah. Because the only way that I can do anything for that dog is that the owner is the CEO, and I don't want to be fired. So that's basically Israel is the bulldog that's harassing everybody around it in the region, and they hate us. Where are we gonna perish? Fuck it, you're not gonna perish. You have nuclear weapons. You have
they're fine.
They're fine.
It definitely gets kind of wild.
They're fine. And then how is it self defense? Because I'm sure that you've seen these videos. All of these IDF soldiers wearing women lingerie, taking like the women's the kids' toys, destroying empty hospitals, destroying empty schools just for the fun of it. That doesn't look like an army that is defending itself.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's felt like the feeling of it is that Like usually when you hear, I mean, I've said this before, usually when you hear like free a place, that's the place that needs help, you know? It's like you don't hear like free Michigan or free America or free China, you know, or sometimes you hear free China.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you hear free Palestine, if you hear that, then that's usually, if something becomes that big of a fervor that's the campaign slogan, that place usually needs some sort of help.
Yeah.
How does some place that's stronger, like Israel, that has so much, how do they help? How do we get to?
Why would they help? They just want the land.
But they
remember the map that we saw how they this has been ongoing from 1940s.
But they obviously have enough of the land.
No, they want the whole land. They want all of the West Bank. They want all of Gaza, and they have said many times on television the only way this would happen if people in Gaza go into Egypt and people in the West Bank are driven into Jordan.
Is this a legitimate map? Did you draw this map?
It's from the internet, but they have been telling you openly we're gonna displace those.
But at a
people
certain
outside.
point, they have to recognize, hey, we haven't. This is
They don't care. They haven't. Why would
well,
they?
That's the part to me that's not cool.
Show me in this map anywhere where Israel has scaled back. What they have done, they have moved forward to disintegrate the land more, push the people more, abuse the people more, and because they have the power and because they have American behind them, they are not compelled to do anything different.
Well, they feel like they're in the right.
Yes, they feel in the right because
why don't
it's given. The Bible gave it to me because God gave it to me. So if I believe I'm the chosen people, I can do whatever I want.
Oh yeah,
and I have to tell you, like a lot of people ask me, Bassem, are you religious? I said, like, if these are God chosen people, I have doubts.
I'm gonna lose my job for another 2 more years for laughing at all. But do you think though that why doesn't America help Palestine? Why don't we?
Why? Because they help. I just told you. What is America? America is a government. This government is made of officials. These officials are elected. They need money for the elections. Who pays for election campaigns? Who is the biggest?
But even still, you could still help someone because they need help.
No, they don't care. Who is the biggest recipient of donors from Israel? $9 million over the years. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, yeah.
Yeah. So why would he help? Why would I help Palestine while I'm getting my money from you? I mean, he can give me all kind of like fancy political talk, but it's really about being reelected. So the idea, you are thinking as a human being, what is the right thing to do? And you're right. But the right thing to do is not the right thing in politics. The right thing in politics is to survive and have as much money as possible to stay in power as long as possible. No morals, no right and wrong, nothing. Just power.
Well, one thing that didn't help, by having the term free Palestine, that's going to attract all the... But if you label something free something right next to Israel, dude, no wonder they keep coming. They should have said it very expensive Palestine.
It's a very expensive Palestine, but it is expensive. It's costing us a lot of money.
They should have said under contract Palestine.
Work in progress Palestine.
Now, is that a joke? Am I going to go to jail? I don't know.
Why would you go into? You shouldn't.
I understand that, but why do I feel like
exactly?
I might?
Why do you feel that, Theo? You are an outspoken person. You speak about anything. You go on stage and you have no boundaries. When people in America start to have boundaries about a certain issue, we need to ask questions. Why?
Oh, I get it.
Why? And also, it's just like it's crazy. And it's just like it's maybe it's my disappointment because I bet everything on this country. I really love living here, being here, and the only thing that I was promised, which is freedom, it seems not to work. And I'm someone who's been canceled a few times from my own country. So I come here, it's like, hey, America, freedom. It's like, oh, freedom about everything except that one thing. Come on, dude. What kind of freedom is that? Maybe I should have I don't know, went to Tel Aviv instead.
Well, I think it behooves everybody if you can joke about everything. I think that makes things a lot more chill. Yeah. How do you handle not agreeing with Israel but still supporting like your Jewish friends and stuff that are in America?
I don't think that's a difficult choice because the Jewish people here's the thing, they want you to make you think that all Jewish people are with Israel. That is not true. A lot of Jewish people do not agree with that. So they
I have a lot of Jewish friends that are on
you have
kind of both sides of this thing.
You have a Jewish bloc that every single week that goes out in Europe and in America. And remember when we talk about those university encampments? Many of them, there was like a Jewish bloc that was part, and many of them were even arrested with their Arab and American brothers, but they don't want to talk to you about that. You can find many pictures for Orthodox Jews burning the Israeli flag. Orthodox Jews in New York.
OJs, yeah.
Yeah, OJs. They do not represent us, but they don't want you to see that. They want you to see one thing.
How do you get?
Hear this. All of those Jewish people, they don't like what is.
Show that, dude. We're going to.
Why not?
Jail,
but wait. Okay, how many pictures of burned American flag have you seen?
I don't look at those either.
No. But if you have a picture now burning the American flag or the Iranian flag,
you can't even go to jail for it anymore.
No, you but like is Israeli flag? Why? I'm not inviting people to hate on Israel. I'm not inviting people to hate on Jewish people.
Agreed.
I just want to say you need to have the freedom to speak your mind, even if it doesn't please certain people, because this is democracy. Democracy is noisy, and you will listen to things that you don't like. But you should not feel afraid of speaking up your mind.
Yeah. I think the part where I even started to think about it was it just started to seem like, obviously what happened on October 7th was horrible, but then it just started to seem like such a overstatement of
it was like, we have to kill Hamas, by any. It's just.
And then they just won't exist. And so, I don't know. There's something inside of me, even if I don't know anything about it, there's something inside of me that just says, this just feels messed up.
I like the fact that they say, like, we're doing this for Palestinians. We need them. We will get rid of Hamas for them, and the Palestinians will be grateful. And then I see the destructions. I see that, there's a lot of Palestinians who don't like Hamas. But you wanna convince me that you want to destroy that place, and then you think those people that would be left would be okay with you?
Do you think the Palestinian people knew that Hamas was going to do this October 7th?
I don't think they knew, and of course it's devastating for them. And but and I wish the October 7th never happened. But again, we come back. It's like, how long can you take it? How long can you take the abuse, the land theft, the killing? At a certain point, you're going to be desperate, and you're going to be desperate against a very much more stronger enemy.
Yeah,
but when America revolted for tea, they revolted against a much stronger enemy. And I find it very interesting how everything in the American culture, you watch Star Wars, you side with the rebels. You watch the Hunger Games, you side with the rebels. You go to Israel, you side with the oppressor. You don't side with the rebels. You don't side with the people with no weapons. You don't side with the people with the machine guns or the knives. You side the people with the military arsenal.
Yeah.
Because they were deemed terrorists, less humans, dehumanizing. See how they talk about Palestinians? They are death cults. They are terrorists.
And what are Palestinians like?
Like normal people. Normal people, but they're living in a horrible condition. I married one of them.
Gosh.
So I can report that she has no fangs or nails other than the nails that she does in the nail salon. So she's like a normal human being. And we have normal kids, and they don't turn into werewolves at night. They are normal people. They're normal people who have been in this land, and they were taken away from them. And this was a problem that was imported from a different continent, done by other perpetrators. They were rejected by other white people, and they were just like put on us. And it is terrible, and it should not happen.
So do Palestinians also have issues with Britain and the U.S. then, probably?
Of course. Yeah. But I don't think they have any time to have issues with anybody. They have time to survive. They're living in tents right now in Gaza, and the people who live in West Bank are in under threat to be killed or kicked out at any moment. And I just want people to look at them as humans. Everybody who went to Gaza, everybody who went to the West Bank, saw what happened to those people, and then will speak up. They're being shut down.
Are you able to look at Israel as humans too?
Yes. But I ask them, I look at everybody as humans, and I will not do the same mistake that they have been doing to us, dehumanizing us, calling us terrorists. But they are acting like terrorists.
Why don't we give part of our country to Palestine?
Why don't you give part of your country to Jewish people?
Oh, why don't we give part of our country to one of the groups? At least that would help. Do you think?
I think maybe, but it's not.
Or an island. What about that? What about what if you did a merger? You did Palestine.
Palestine. That's a good one. Yes.
Do you think that's possible? Would Palestine accept something like that, where it's like let's
give this place.
I'm not Palestinian, so I cannot speak on their behalf, but I think Palestinians want to stay in their land. And I think many of those... This is what drives me crazy because it doesn't make any sense. Any Jewish person all around the world, if you're like a Polish Jewish, like an American Jewish, just because you're Jewish, you can get the Israeli passport right now. And once you get the passport, you can come from Brooklyn, land into Israel, take a piece of land that was owned by a Palestinian right on the spot. Or a home that is owned by a Palestinian, saying that this is your promised land.
Like, what do you mean? You can walk into the house?
Yeah, you can just walk in the house, and you can have videos of people taking their stuff and barging into a Palestinian home in the West Bank. It happens all the time. It doesn't make any sense. A Brooklyn Jew, just because he was born Jew, can just like go to Israel, take the passport, and take a piece of land that is belonged to someone else. Even now, as we speak, does that make any sense?
But most people wouldn't do that.
Many people do that. Many people do that. On every single given day, you have planes with thousands of Jewish people from all over the world, coming from Eastern Europe, coming from Africa, coming from Latin America, coming in America, and settling in the land, settling in Arab land.
Does the Palestinian people, do they have a police department?
They have like... They have something called the Palestinian Authority, which is an oxymoron. And they are called the Palestinian Authority, but show me an authority that has absolutely no say about the foreign people coming in and taking land from your people.
Yeah. Dude, my friend got a job at the airport, and he was a little guy, right? And they gave him a billy club, and it weighed him down, dude. He was so little. He's like... He probably weighed 60 pounds or whatever. And I guess
I think he's more effective more than the Palestinian Authority. He has more power than theirs.
The club, dude, when you'd see him run, it was so... He almost had to run sideways because the way the club would like shuffle and like block his legs.
I wish it was that funny.
What's the solution? You have to have some...
The solution is to end the occupation. And the solution is that Israel should stop killing Palestinians taking their land. It's as simple as that. Details, what land, how much, well, that's not my thing to say because I'm a comedian, not a politician, I'm not a Palestinian. There are Palestinian politicians that can talk on their behalf. But I can tell you whatever is happening now is wrong. And it's not my problem or my issue to come up with a solution because I didn't cause that crisis. It's someone else caused it and it's not for me to fix it for them. But what I can say, what's happening is wrong.
Are any American or British leaders, and some of this stuff I don't know a ton, I'm trying my best to learn. Is some American or British leaders trying to help negotiate that? Have we tried over the years to help?
Yeah, but it's always been skewed towards Israel. What Israel
is that
wants.
True though?
Yeah. And
because both sides have rejected peace agreements, right?
Yes, but one of them rejected it because basically you're giving them a very shitty deal, and the other side rejected it because they want more. And now they're telling you, it's like, hey, you know what? Forget about the second state. Forget about two-state solution. Even the Israelis say that it's all ours now. Forget it.
What about like Ladder and Bloom or something? Who is doing the or Remark or something? Who's negotiating it all?
I don't know. There's no negotiation now. Like Israel hasn't gone to the negotiation table for the past 20 years.
Like, is Gaza on Zillow? No.
I think if there's Zillow's.
I'm just joking, dude. Is that offensive?
Oh my God, no. And I learned to laugh about everything. It's like I think Zillow's like. I just said Zillow.
Here's the thing: if it's not on Zillow, I don't think you can take it.
However, it's not in Zillow. It's not. Oh wow!
But I think one thing about a lot of my Jewish friends I notice is they do a good job of working together.
Jewish people are great business people. And I don't want to kind of be the guy who's like, hey, I have black friends, but like, I honestly like my agents, my managers, and they all come from companies that are overwhelmingly Jewish people, and I have no problem dealing with that. My utmost friend and the guy that I look up to is Jon Stewart. And he's the reason why I'm known to America. When I came on his show, he came to my show. I love him to death. He's my big brother. And he's Jewish. That's why I don't fall into this like Jewish thing. No, there are just like bad people that happen to be Jewish, and there's bad people that happen to be Muslims. There are bad people that happen to be Christians, and there are bad people that happen to be atheists. I don't look through the lens of religion, but I can see people who would use religion in order to advance their policy. The same way that ISIS and Qaeda used Islam in order to promote themselves as the only speakers of Islam, we as Muslims rejected it. And the way that Israel is speaking on behalf of all Jewish people, a lot of Jewish people are rejecting that, because it's not anti-Semitism to attack Israel. It's not anti-Semitism to criticize Zionism. It's just like freedom of expression. And that is why I don't hold that. But they want to reduce you. You're a Jew hater. Dude, relax. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't like when people say that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a way to shut down the conversation, to scare you, to intimidate you, to make people have a negative reaction to you without even you speaking.
Dude, if I was a Jew, if I hated Jewish people, I would know.
You would know. You would know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'd be the first to know.
You go to New York and not eat bagels. You'll know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I would have an
You
inkling.
boycott bagels in New York.
Yeah. Now, don't do that, dude. Have you had debates with friends like on this topic a lot?
Yeah, I mean, many times. And some of them listen, some of them are set in their ways, like anything. Like, I that's true for Americans, for Egyptians. I have debates about the Egyptian revolution with Egyptian friends who would never listen to my point of view. So yes, people, it's a very emotionally charged topic. So you will have people coming in very emotional.